5 points from Jason Tatum and pulled away for a 113-95 win over the Kings, but Tatum also sprained his left ankle in the third quarter and had to leave the game. He came down on Domantas Sabonis' foot while making a three and was on the floor for a while, but Joe Mazzulla thinks he'll be okay.
He seems to be doing okay. He's just icing it right now. I didn't see the play, but they made the right calls of flagrant foul, and fortunate that he was able to shoot the free throw and, just taking care of it right now. So.
Boston Globe is reporting he left the arena without a walking boot or crutches. Celtics have won 6 in a row. They continue their road trip in Phoenix tomorrow night. Patriots yesterday decided to match a 2-year offer sheet to linebacker Christian Ellis, and he had signed it with the Raiders. Also, former Patriots kicker Joey Sly signed a contract with the Tennessee Titans. In other NFL news, Pro Football Talk reported yesterday it is a, quote, safe bet, unquote, that Aaron Rodgers eventually signs with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Red Sox won an exhibition game last night in Mexico, 10-1 over the Monterrey Sultans. Marcelo Mayer homered and drove in 5 runs to lead the offense, and the Sox 4th starter Richard Fitz allowed 1 run in 6 innings. The Sox will play the Sultans again today and then head to Texas for the regular season opener Thursday afternoon against the Rangers. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Boston plays here.
Coming through the slot. Close shot. Save. Rebound. Score.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher.
When has that been necessary to fact check?
And Hardy.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
On 98.5.
Hello. Hey there.
Sarge GPT loading up.
Let me hear you say, "Bo, bo, bo."
Crush me, mommy.
Say my name.
I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the Pope.
I'm a goddamn drag!
Yeah, good luck, dude.
Nothing like a good tushy.
I love you. And I think you know that. Excuse me?
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fence and having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go. Town Fair Tire Studio 617-779-0985. I'm back from my wild vacation with my son in the southeast or southeast Florida. We were staying in West Palm, and we went to Jupiter a lot. We went to Port St. Lucie. It's nothing like Mets fans. But at least at Port St. Lucie, it's like kind of an old school spring training experience. I don't know how much you guys have gone to spring training in your life, but I have the story. I don't even know if I told this on the air, but I've had a story that like in 1985, we went to spring training, and I didn't know the kid, but me and this other little kid, I was 10, he was probably 10 too. We were hanging over the dugout, and Jack Clark was just like, "Hey, come down." And then he lifted us up and took us and put us in the dugout during the game. Now, no other players talked to us, but we were in there during the game. And then after the game, in the parking lot, Tom Nieto, who was a catcher for the Cardinals at the time, was on the phone, and we were bugging him for an autograph. And he was like, "Guys, get away, I'm getting traded." He was on the phone with his agent. And
Get away. It's the worst day of my life.
Exactly. And then Ozzie Smith came out with essentially a mink coat and a man purse. And it was the summer, or not the summer, the spring in Florida.
It's 80 degrees outside.
And then Willie McGee, we followed him to his car, and then he got in his car. He didn't want to sign any autographs, and so we just started banging on the window, and then he finally gave us an autograph. And then even the year the Cardinals played the Red Sox in the World Series most recently, they're not in 2004, but
2013.
In 2013. My son and I had gone to a spring training game, and you could like walk around and see stuff and, kind of meet the players. And where the Cardinals play, they share a facility with the Marlins in Jupiter. And it's not like that. It's a small stadium, but the bullpens are in the outfield. The practice fields are kind of like you can't access them. And it's not ideal. But then in Port St. Lucie, where the Mets play, it's a way bigger stadium, but like the Mets bullpen, which is huge, and they also just practice in there. Like during the games, there's 6 mounds. They're working out with like weighted balls and medicine balls back there. And also on the other side, there's the bullpen, which is more of a normal bullpen for the visiting team. And you can kind of like hang out there. Like my son's still of the age where he wants like balls and to talk to the guys and stuff. And there they were just chucking up balls and things like that. Now, I will say this is that we went to see 2 Cardinal games, and then we went to see 1 Mets game. The Cardinals played Houston the first time, then the Mets played the Nationals, and then we saw the Nationals play the Cardinals. And Milo did talk to the manager of the Nationals because the managers sit behind a screen next to the dugout during those games. And he talked to the manager of the Nationals, and the Nationals came up and was rolling balls across the dugout. But also in Jupiter, they have there's a net all around the field, and they have it tied down to wire, like a heavy metal wire. So you couldn't even stick anything underneath it if you wanted to.
That sucks.
And there's like no holes in it. It's weird. There's no access to the players. And when they come onto the field, my son didn't really want autographs, but when they come onto the field, there's all these little kids waiting for autographs because there's about a 3-foot gap in the screen where you can like access those guys, and they don't necessarily even walk by there. So I don't even know really what the point of kind of going to it is, because you're seeing them at a small ballpark, and the last Cardinal game we saw, it was their opening day lineup. Basically, I think it was their opening day lineup, short of maybe 1 guy, which is impressive. Let me tell you, the Cardinals' opening day lineup will knock your socks off. But it just, and then also in Port St. Lucie, because my son's going back to Port St. Lucie tomorrow to play. They got games down in Port St. Lucie for his high school team starting tomorrow. That's why not doing the show tomorrow. He has to be at the JetBlue gate at 4:20 in the morning on tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I am I'm not doing the show after that. You don't want me to. It will be who knows what I'll say. And so when I'm that tired, it's a not good situation for anyone. But he'll go back, and so you can like walk their practice facility. They have fields all over the place. They have one of those cool fields that they have, I guess, at IMG. That's just the infield with a fence. So it's a backstop, plate, infield, and then fence. So they take infield on a full-size infield, but there's no outfield. So they don't have to maintain the outfield. I find that fascinating.
It's a cost-cutting measure.
It's not that. There's a reason for it. So they can do exclusively infield work on those fields. It's interesting. I guess they had one at IMG. But, West Palm Beach is an interesting place. I can't quite put my finger on the money, but that's going on there. But we did have a listener, and randomly, I don't look at my Instagram inbox very often, but I did look at my Instagram inbox while we were there, and a guy's like, oh, hey, I'm a fan of the show. I have a restaurant that's right next to Roger Dean Stadium in Jupiter. He saw that because I put a picture of Milo and I up at one of the games, and he said, you got to come in. And so the next time we were at Roger Dean Stadium, we went. It turned out it was like right next to the field, and we went in there and we were treated very well.
Is there a school? Is there like a college right next to Roger
Florida
Dean's?
Atlantic University.
Florida Atlantic, that's right.
Which is a beautiful campus.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the money, and there are places like that all over the country, and more of them, in Florida and coastal areas and stuff like that. But I'm always amazed when I go around these communities and you look at the homes and the cars and the boats and all that stuff. Where do all these people get all this money.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all, actually.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
In West Palm Beach, I really can't put my finger on it because the houses suck. But it's supposed to be this wealthy area. It's
All the wealth is
Dan
over the
O'Brien
bridge.
used to live there. Well, in Palm Beach, right?
Probably that's where all the wealth is.
Yeah, right. That's where Mar-a-Lago is and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, but it's right across. But it's not a dump. It's funny. It's West Palm Beach is like a city, and it's not even that smaller radio market. I mean, it's not a big radio market, and you can tell who buys. I didn't listen to any of the local radio, but you can tell who buys ad space because at Roger Dean Stadium, they had a bunch of ads for like the ESPN affiliate. And there was a guy with like a gambling show from noon to 1 every weekday, and he had an ad up, and he buys the time on the station, and he bought the ad in the park, which I always find is interesting.
It's a good use. I mean, how many people are seeing that on a given week that are going to be hopefully it's not a targeted ad, mind you.
No,
there are hundreds of eyes falling on it, I would think.
Yeah, it's completely worthless. It can cost a lot, though, because there were also like a card shop ad that was like next to the stadium, so it can't cost a lot. Yeah. But so these guys who
more
barter...
effective means these days, but yeah, go ahead, buy your ad in the stadium. That's good.
Right, so if you're in a smaller city, you can barter at time like the golf club does. Hardy pays the station to run the golf club.
Yeah.
And
they've given me a break over the years. It's only half of my salary.
Yeah, I mean, but he sells his own advertising, so he makes out like a bandit. But in these smaller markets, they're on in the midday. There's people that barter the time. They buy the time, and they say it's so they can sell their own advertising, but they never break even on it. And the station makes money, and they don't care what they put on in the middays because it's an hour and. What's it matter to them? They're not making any money anyway. But I did find that was funny that the guy had not only bartered the time on the station, he had also bought ads. But Mad Dog, his son is on in West Palm Beach.
Oh.
And apparently he went to you guys put this in Slack.
Yes.
He went, I didn't listen to it, but he went to, his son went to Port St. Lucie to a Mets game. And no one on the Mets would talk to him.
Did his show live from there and got no guests.
Right.
You can imagine how Mad Dog reacted to that.
18 minutes Mad Dog reacted to that.
Yeah.
And good for Mad Dog. Yeah. It is funny but that's kind of the vibe of spring training now is it's not the same. Now my son wants to go back. I guess he had a really good time. We did a bunch of other stuff too, but we didn't go to the beach or anything. But there was he wants to go back, but it's not the same vibe. You're not walking around like seeing guys work on infield and stuff like that. And we even went early to a game. The first game we went too early, and they're not doing anything on the field. They're not even like stretching.
Really?
They're not doing anything.
Oh, that sucks.
I didn't get early enough to go to batting. I'm not a lunatic. I didn't go. I don't even know if they take batting practice on the field in spring training on the. But I mean, to go to batting practice, you got to get there 2 hours early. I'm not getting there 2 hours early, just to watch them take batting practice, especially the Cardinals, who are atrocious. That Jordan Walker cannot. Not only can he not hit, he can't field. So it's fun to watch.
But other
him.
than that, he's fine. He's your starting right fielder, right?
They have Chaim Bloom as their general manager in waiting. They're just playing kids, and they don't care who.
Don't worry. He's going to build that farm system right back up. He's going to pick off every scrap heap pitcher he can find, put him right in the rotation. It's going to be great.
Well, they asked John Mozeliak, who's the current manager, they go, do you worry about the teams like in our market size having success in the future? And he said, yes.
Yeah, he should. But Bloom is perfect. Bloom is perfect.
But Mike, you can make fun of Bloom in Boston, but he learned in Tampa, and Tampa does it right for their market size. So I don't really understand what else is his option. He can't go out and the Cardinals aren't going to be in a position to go out and compete with anyone for free agents.
This is you're right. This is perfect for him. He can go execute his game plan with a lot less pressure.
And they have a bigger payroll, obviously, than Tampa. I mean, Tampa's a joke. I mean, St. Louis can be a mid team in terms of money, but right now, the way Major League Baseball is just look at the highest paid players in baseball. The 3 or 4 are on the Dodgers, and then 1 is on the Mets. It's Soto, Ohtani, and then I think 2 other guys on the Dodgers. So it's you can't compete. You can't compete for those free agents. Mm-hmm. There's a big problem. Now they've settled the NIL problem in basketball, and you saw the result of the NIL over the first weekend of the NCAAs. Is that you saw that mid majors are never going to be able to compete again in the tournament. They're just never going to be able to keep kids. The idea that you're going to have a mid major with 5 scrappy senior graduate players that are been sticking around for the whole time are long gone. That's never going to happen again.
Because that was really the only way they could do it. Is they were never going to get the top talent. But if you kept a team together and you kept guys there for 4 years, they learned to play together and they got better kind of as a whole, as a team, then you could make some noise and make a Sweet 16 or an Elite 8.
Yeah, we talked about that kid who the 60-year senior from Oakland who gunned down, I forget what high major team they beat.
Well, he could still exist.
No, but the point I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
The point I'm trying to make is a guy who does play-by-play for a mid-major, you only can game plan for 1 year. I have knowledge of this, Hardy.
Oh. Well, yeah.
You can only game plan for 1 year. You ask any mid-major head coach how they build a program, and they will tell you you can't build a program anymore.
Right, because they're picking off of JUCOs and D2 schools
for 1 year, and then if the kid does well, he's gone to Miami or Memphis or whatever other team he can. St. Bonaventure,
because Colorado State's got a kid that's going to be a first-round pick, but that's the exception to the rule. Like so. What does the SEC have? 14
teams in. They got 7 left.
7 left, right? 7 of the Sweet 16, and then the Big Ten's got 4 or something like that. It's and the ACC has 1, and so the idea of that happening is never going to happen again. Is that there's just not that opportunity. You're never going to anyone who's any good is going to transfer into at least a D1. A pretty good D1 program. So the little Drakes and things of that nature are never going to compete. It was nice to see St. John's lose with Rick Pitino. And then Pitino's son lost. But then it was kind of sad because there was a girl with huge boobs next to him. And also there was obviously the daughter of Pitino's son. And she was very upset after the game, which was kind of you wanted. And Pitino never, ever consoled her. He just ignored her with that scarf.
I called it an ascot. I really wanted it to be an ascot, but
no.
Right.
Scarf.
And then obviously you talked about Danny Hurley after the game. I'm sure yesterday you talked about him. He's a complete lunatic.
So we did not, because the more interesting part of that story is, I think, the information officer from the school getting chewed out over it. So, and that didn't break until we were off the air yesterday. Yeah. I mean, he was losing his mind, but the video of it and the fact that the information officer went after the videographer,
TV reporter from Charlotte.
Yeah, and got all up in his business, which is it's funny. Like, did you think you were breaking any news about?
Yeah, Dane Hurley can be a really bad guy.
Yeah,
but he's built a career on that.
Yeah,
and there you have a video of him being a bad guy, and then you decide to go after the people filming it.
It's a classic case of, it's like, now you're making it a story. Had you just put the video out there, people are like, it's just him being him.
It wasn't damaging to him in any way,
No.
shape, or form.
No.
It's I recognize that. I've seen that about a dozen times already.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny Hurley is not for the yelling. He's just a complete lunatic, crying, and he's just really got to get a hold of himself. He's a complete maniac, a total maniac, who's not going to live a long life. I mean, he's not. He's way the way he feels that his success in college basketball is that important. I wouldn't want him within 200 miles of my kid. My kid's never going to play basketball in college, but if I had a kid that was in any way, shape, or form getting recruited from UConn, I'd go, you stay as far away from that guy as possible. I don't need you with that lunatic and not yelling. I'd rather him play for Bobby Knight. I really would. And I wouldn't want him playing for Bobby Knight, but I'd rather him play for Bobby Knight than some manic, crazy man who's either yelling or screaming and pointing at his rings and being all braggadocio or breaking down crying because they lost an effing Sweet 16 game. I mean, look, Izzo, who I love, cries, but he old man cries. Like, he cries like with like great, like, because he's so overwhelmed with the moment. Like, you know, senior day, he cries. He cries in like a way that you want the guy to cry. And I'm not just kissing Izzo's ass. Like, he does. He cries like because he like loves the kids. Danny Hurley could say he loves the kids and everything. He was crying because he couldn't handle losing. He couldn't handle losing a Sweet 16. He's a grown man. You gotta get a hold of yourself. Did anyone else think he's a complete? And then on TV, I heard we got a break, but we heard a guy going. There was an ex-college coach going like, oh, you get to know the kids so much and you fall in love with the kids. You see them more than your family. That's not why he was crying. He admitted it. He was crying because he was so used to success that he couldn't handle losing. That's so say the Celtics lose in the Eastern Conference Finals this year to Cleveland. And then Missoula gets on the stage and starts breaking down crying. You would be like, get this guy out of here. He's a lunatic.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
You're going to lose games. You're not going to win the championship every year. You're just not going to. No, you're not going to. Now, the kid's crying, that I understand. Not him. All right. Well, there you go. That's all I have from the time I missed. You just got it. So everything else, I have nothing left to say. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're going to have to trade for him. Because I don't think any of those guys are going to come in.
Dulac and Bertrand. Weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub. Half Toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
Sports Hub.
Did you catch a game last night?
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened, so change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. What happened?
Celtics, halfway through their 6-game road trip, had a stop in Sacramento last night, and Jason Tatum hadn't been getting any time. Jaylen Brown missed some time there as he's got things that he's dealing with. Kristaps Porzingis, of course, has missed plenty of time. Guys like Derek White and Drew Holiday been getting their breathers. But Tatum was in there last night and getting it done. And when he did, it sounded like this. No?
Huh, that's, yeah.
All right.
Odd.
I might be able to help here.
Yes.
Let's try this.
I have John's up.
Tatum switches to the right hand, coming down the right side, flies through the air, two-hand slam. Timeout, Doug Christie.
Hesitating dribble, hit him with the hissy, and then all of a sudden, boom, jumps up and puts the tomahawk down.
Say he who hesitates is lost. He who has the hezzy is hard to find.
Truer words were never spoken.
So everything was looking good, and it was pretty much it was the Tatum and Porzingis show. They had the lead. It was a relatively easy game until things did not get easy for Jason Tatum. First, we're going to listen to it, but then I want to read to you how it was described by one reporter last night, the unfortunate incident with Jason Tatum. You ready there, John?
I don't have it here. I'm sorry. I'm looking for it.
So wait, your thing's not playing through the board?
Yeah, try your computer again, Hardy.
Oh, wait. I think I have it here. Ready?
Wait, let Hardy try real
right.
quick.
Yeah. Because it's up on the board. We just might have to reboot it during the break.
All right.
Go for it, John.
There we go.
Derek White into the front court, moves into Tatum. 21-8-8 for Tatum with 3:38 to go in the third. He's got Sabonis, so he steps to his left, hits the three, and the foul. Now Sabonis got underneath Tatum, and he is hanging on to his left ankle, and all of Celtics Nation holding its breath right now.
Okay. So I didn't see it until this morning, and it is Sabonis. It moves into his landing space.
Yeah, coming in from the side. It wasn't a closing out from the front. He just kind of passed by him on the side.
Right. So and then Tatum goes down like he was hit by a sniper bullet. I mean, he goes down and grabs that ankle, and he stays down. Let's try this one more time, 12. No? Okay. I don't have sound. That's
excellent.
Better.
We'll get you sorted.
All right. Let's do the follow-up if you have that there.
I think I do. Let's
more on Tatum.
He walks back. Imagine it looks like he wants to stay on the bench and not go to the locker room. That's the discussion right now. But he's going to sit on the bench. MVP chants all throughout the Golden One Center for Jason Tatum as he sits on the bench. All this happens with 3:35 to go in the third quarter. In a year that has paralleled the title defense season of 2009 in so many ways. And what you didn't want to say out loud when you said that is that was the season, of course, that was destroyed by the late injury out west to Kevin Garnett.
Okay. It's so bad, and we'll just cut to the chase now. He was sitting in the locker room afterward, joking with teammates. Appeared to leave with a slight limp, but no boot, no crutches, nothing like
Adam
that.
Himmelsbach of the Globe was tweeting this after the game that he was sitting. He wasn't made available to the media, but he was sitting with both sneakers on, sitting in his locker. It does not seem serious. It looks like the Celtics avoided major injury.
Here's how it was written up by the Associated Press. Jason Tatum had 25.7 rebounds and 8 assists before suffering a hard foul and leaving in the Boston Celtics 113-95 win over the Sacramento Kings on Monday night. Six-time All-Star was hurt late in the third quarter. after making his 5th three-pointer of the game. Tatum absorbed a flagrant 1 foul by Kings 6'11" center Domantas Sabonis. He remained down for several moments. Okay, I understand they assessed the flagrant because you can't go into the shooting space. But and whether it was an accident or not, there are hard fouls and then there are hard fouls. There are flagrants and there are flagrants, and this is the former in both cases.
Yeah, it was a mistake, and Sabonis is very apologetic afterwards. He's not a dirty player.
Right.
So, I mean, he doesn't have a reputation for being a dirty player. It was one of those things where he got there late, and Tatum came down on his foot when he landed.
Right. So, hopefully Tatum will be okay. But now he will probably end up getting some time, which I'm guessing he needed anyway going into this
They've
stretch.
been trying to get him to sit, and this is a perfect excuse to do that. They have another game tomorrow night, which I will place money that he will not play in.
Correct.
So that's where we stand.
So you can bet on that?
I don't think we can. I was just trying to emphasize my point a little bit.
You would bet on injury, huh?
He would place a personal bet with you, a wager of some kind.
Well, I don't think I would feel comfortable doing that.
No, I don't feel comfortable.
So why don't you have a death pool? Who'd be in it? You tell us, John. Who do you think's going to die? I mean, if you're so hip on betting on injury, if that's what you like so much,
maybe I shouldn't focus on that too much.
Okay,
that seems kind of ghoulish.
Here's my death pool. You.
Oh.
I have 2, and the odds are way long on one of them, not so much on the other. Dick Van Dyke, which I don't think anyone is expecting him to pass anytime soon.
He's 99.
Yeah, but he's healthy and he dances still.
He's not dying.
Oh, I saw him dance. You know, the guy was an alcoholic for many years. He rebooted that thing. Dick Van Dyke. He quit a long time ago, but a long time ago to him is, a long time ago is 50 years.
Yeah.
So, like, he quit a long time ago, but he's very spry.
But my other one is Ryan Beaton, who
Interesting.
Our own producer here, and a lot of people feel the same way, which is why the odds aren't so great. He just doesn't look like someone who's going to be with us for a long time.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. It's kind of a sad story. It's going to be one of those like, oh my God.
He was such a quiet young man.
Yeah.
Well, wild personal life in terms of taking chances.
Yeah.
I mean,
so those are my 2.
Let's just say anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
With young Ryan Beaton.
Wow.
Celtics.
Well, it's the innocent looking ones that are truly the American gigolos of our day and age.
So while other teams have been struggling recently, especially in the East, we talked about this yesterday, John.
Mm-hmm.
Celtics have now won 6 straight, and they have won 12 of their last 13. What are the Cavaliers doing?
Cavaliers are struggling. A little bit. They did win, as Dan Roach was very quick to point out. But yes, they had lost 4 in a row. They finally beat the Utah Jazz, and they're gonna play Portland tonight. But at last look, the Celtics all of a sudden are within striking distance for that number 1 seed. They're 4.5 games out.
Yeah, probably not going to happen. I'm sure that Cleveland is going to figure things out. You won't see another 4-game losing streak out of them here in the remainder of the season. But
yeah, like 11 or 12 games to go, and the Celtics are 4.5 out.
It's just interesting too because the Celtics have been doing it with patchwork rosters. Some of these throughout these 12 wins out of their last 13. You look at the court at any given time, especially toward the end of the third quarter. Like, who is this team?
That's right.
Who is out there? Who's that guy?
That's right. Baylor Shireman's out there scoring 20 points. Yeah,
Shireman out there, stealing passes last night and hitting Pritchard on breakaways. I mean,
hey, Cardi, just for the hell of it, try to throw on that it's Missoula 7. Shireman playing more comfortable. I did some tinkering around in here.
More important is the show. And I was about to say something.
I didn't hear you.
No. It wasn't that you didn't hear me. It's just that I don't think that we should just play audio. We can figure that out during the break. I'm looking at Cleveland, and Cleveland are playing their starters. They're not playing them big minutes. So Cleveland, in fairness, is not.
I think they're
going balls to the walls here.
And Celtics were probably expecting about the same results as Cleveland has been getting recently. It's like, yeah, we're going to lose a couple of these games, but we're going to rest Jaylen Brown, and we're not going to play Porzingis. We're not going to play Drew Holiday more than we have to right now.
Holiday is resting on one night of it. Holiday's getting the Al Horford treatment. If you have a back-to-back, he's going to skip one. Porzingis is the same way. Porzingis didn't play 2 nights ago, played last night.
Do you see it in a situation where Holiday starts to struggle in the playoffs and doesn't play as much as he might have last year? Because that could happen.
He has had a very poor shooting year. So
if he becomes a liability.
Certainly, when you have Peyton Pritchard playing well, then Holiday is needed less, I would think. It all depends on matchups, Fred. Holiday's so good defensively.
I was going to say, you need him for his defense, but of course, it's a liability to have someone out there who they're going to let shoot. And it's approaching that with Drew Holiday. Oh, he's got it? He's out on the perimeter? Yeah, let him shoot that.
Because I'll just give you, it was a blowout, but like Evan Mobley is, generally going to play more than 21 minutes in a game. Correct. Donovan Mitchell would play more than 21 minutes in a game.
Evan Mobley is a 35-minute a game player.
Right.
Yes.
And then Donovan Mitchell obviously is going to play more than 21 minutes in a game. Yeah. And that was a blowout. So, and I don't really feel like going back and looking at. But if Cleveland is going we got to win every game for the rest of the season, then you got some problems.
Now, truth be told, Cleveland's pretty much locked into number 1, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the Knicks. They have fallen way off. Yeah. Celtics have a huge lead for the 2 seed now. They've all but locked that up. I think they're 8 games up now on the Knicks for the 2.
Yeah, they're good. So. It pretty much, unless Cleveland falls apart, it is what it is at the top of that. Now, you're right. Indiana has a chance of catching the Knicks if things go completely awry. They're only 2.5 back from the Knicks. But at that point, I guess.
Just for Cleveland's sake, Cleveland won 16 straight games,
right.
And then they lost 4 in a row. Mm-hmm. So it's jarring to see them play poorly. That's the kind of season they've had. I mean, they were a threat to win 70 games there for a while. That's not going to happen now, but they were a threat to win 70. So to see them lose 4 straight is eye-opening from a distance.
Right. All right, let's take a break, and we'll be back with more of what happened in the evening. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics won in Sacramento over the Kings 113-95 to sweep their road back-to-back. Jason Tatum 25 points, but left in the third quarter with a sprained left ankle and did not return. The Boston Globe is reporting he left the arena with a slight limp, but no walking boot or crutches. The Green will visit Phoenix tomorrow evening. Patriots have brought back linebacker Christian Ellis for the next 2 seasons. They have matched the offer sheet he signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Tennessee has signed former Patriots kicker Joey Sly. And the Red Sox won an exhibition game last night in Mexico, 10-1 over the Monterrey Sultans. Marcelo Myers is going to start the regular season in AAA, but he was the story last night. A homer and 5 RBIs. Sox play the Sultans again tonight. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Siri.
Going to have to spend $40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. Hardy, what else happened last evening?
Well, Jason Tatum's ankle was not the only major basketball injury last night. Now it's not working again. It's not working again?
Russell, top of the key, down the left side of the lane, goes up on Arias, stripped by Kiki, ahead to Watkins for USC, down the right side of the lane, and she grabs her left knee as she goes down. Watkins is holding the underside of her left knee in a lot of pain.
That is USC star Juju Watkins, who's going to miss the rest of the women's NCAA tournament. ACL tear during the Trojans' second-round game over Mississippi State. They got the win last night, 96-59. So hopefully, brackets were blown up as a result of that going chalk. But Juju Watkins, done for the season.
Overwhelming odds-on favorite to win Women's College Basketball Player of the Year.
Yes. So
now I can turn this show off, just like I turned off ESPN on the way in.
Fred!
Why you got to be
you
like that,
son
Fred?
of a bitch.
Jesus, Fred.
ACL. You even know what that means?
It's something Christian.
It's all right. How about Cam Ward's Pro Day as he's showing out? And now this is the best way to tell if somebody can play in the NFL. You get him out there with no pads, and you get him out there throwing to guys that he knows,
just like Zachy Wilson.
No one rushing him.
Yeah, you get him out there in a comfortable confines, and that should be, according to Cam Ward anyway, all you need to know about him.
I said I'm solidifying it today. And
You
they
solidified
know what
it
I said.
today. Locking it up.
They
heard you? They laughed a
I
little
made
bit.
sure they heard me.
And you can also tell you can tell how a guy is going to respond under rapid fire questioning from hard-nosed reporters who are asking the tough questions. You could just tell by the back and forth here. This is not comfortable.
I said I'm solidifying it today. And
You
they know what I
solidified it today.
said.
Locking it up.
They
heard you? They laughed a
I
little
made
bit.
sure they heard me.
So I guess off that tip, the Titans obviously have the #1 overall pick.
Yeah, off that tip.
They like you. They've had you in the building. What did you want to show them today?
I say not only showing them, but every other team just throwing on rhythm. Whether it's 3 steps on rhythm, 5 steps on rhythm for under in the gun, heavy play action.
Yeah, okay.
You got to keep that on tip.
You're not playing football. You're throwing a football.
Remember when Zach Wilson, he rolled to his left and then he threw that bomb to his right and everyone was all impressed.
Who was that Ohio State kid, the big Ohio State kid with a cannon that went to Washington because the owner,
Oh, yeah.
the owner,
That wasn't even Jamarcus Russell. That was another kid. Dan Snyder's kid played high school football with
right,
him.
and liked him a lot. But he was impressive at his pro day. He threw the ball well.
Yeah, and Jamarcus Russell's and Zach Wilson are kind of, I know what you're talking about, but I'll tell you what I mean. Jamarcus Russell and Zach Wilson, at least by most people, were expected to be top 5 picks. The guy that the Redskins took, I think it was, the Redskins at the time. The Redskins, I think they took him like 13 or something. Dwayne Haskins
That's it, yep.
was not anyone was in any danger of drafting Dwayne Haskins at that point. That was considered what? Yeah, and I don't even know if Dwayne Haskins had a whole pro day, to be honest with you. I don't know if he was a combine guy, if he had a pro day.
No,
I
I remember flipping on and seeing this kid throw, and I'm like, oh, that's an enormous kid who's got a cannon, but he couldn't run. He's just big.
Yeah, but when the Redskins took him, there was no there was, I don't think, any consensus that he should have been taken around that time. Kerry, go ahead.
Hey, guys, I just wanted to say a very important name in the death pool, a name that should be in everybody's death pool, Nick Gemelli.
Oh, yeah, he can't be in it.
He pretty much died already.
No, yeah, that's off the board. We can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, because it would be unfair. I mean, it would only be like first of all, we're not having a death pool, but that was just,
Well, I would say it's unfair because he's too healthy. He goes to the doctor more than all of us combined.
Yeah.
He banged out 20 solid Marine-style push-ups in here that Billy Jaffe
25.
attested to, and those were all legit.
I wish I've never. Now you got something going. Not for anything else except for that Billy didn't try. It's not that I begrudge Nick getting the push-ups in. Good for him. He did better still than I thought he would do. None of that. And I know it can sound like that. It's not because I gave every one of those 40 shekels over to Hardy. It has nothing to do with that.
Which, by the way, that second 20 that you paid me at Apple Pay, that's going to end up on fine mass money one day.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to forget about that. I'm going to die.
Just put it like a Post-it note on your phone, and the next time you go out, like to get lunch after the show, just use it for that. You wanted it right away. I mean, I didn't have cash on me. So, and I won't use Venmo. A guy I know, a prostitute, robbed him of a lot of money on Venmo, and there was nothing he could do. But the thing is that Nick. The thing that disappointed me the most about when Nick did the push-ups is Billy's Billy did push-ups for us off the air. He said, "This is how you do push-ups," and we went, "Yeah." But, he just wanted to show off that he could do push-ups. And then Nick does the push-ups. I can't see him. And then I see the video, and I'm like, well, Billy, you didn't even try. Like, he didn't even try for the good of the bit. He didn't try. Like getting him to going, that's not really a push-up. And then that debate would have been fun on the radio. Nick getting frustrated with him as he had to keep starting.
Why did he stop at 10 and start over again?
Well,
that's just his inability to count, I'd imagine. But the thing is that I don't. It would have been such a better bit if Billy just would have tried. It's the bit. Like Nick getting frustrated, Nick going, why didn't that count? Like all that would have been fun. Instead, it was just Nick knocked out, and it's still impressive, and I didn't think he could do it. But it was, what did it take, a minute? And then you were just like, okay, that's it. It would have been so much more fun if he held him to like doing a real push-up.
So
that's my issue with the whole thing.
Well, he's going to be. Oh, you're not going to be here tomorrow. That's right.
Well, wait. What do you mean?
Well, I was saying Billy is supposed to be in with us.
Oh, we can't do the bit again. I mean,
I was saying you have an opportunity to talk to Billy about this.
He's not. He's going to care as little about that as he did about the whole thing in the first place.
Oh, I think he would care less. He would care less about your critique of him than he did about the actual thing.
Then you don't know Billy very well. He'd care far more about my critique than he would about the actual thing. Oh. Billy taking criticism?
But from you.
Billy, you've seen Billy get extraordinarily frustrated with me about criticism.
Only the Morning Brew logo.
Oh, well, then I suggest you pay me a little bit. I can understand zoning him out, but I would encourage you to spend more attention to when he's in here. He leaves here plenty of times annoyed with me. Plenty of times.
Well, my point remains. I think Nick Gemelli is the picture of health.
Yes.
I would not take him in any Deadpool, and I think he's going to live a long life.
Okay. Well, something happened on the plane. I didn't do anything. So let's get that out of the way in case someone has to walk into work or to a 7-Eleven or something. I didn't do anything, but something happened. It was been suggested to me to talk about it. I'll get your opinions. I can also even go. You can even go to the callers.
Oh, good.
Plus, I want to make fun of Wallach about something too. Nothing in your personal life, but something about your utter ignorance that I would like to explore as well. We'll be back in just a moment. Yeah, well, hang on. It's going to be the longest 5 minutes of your life. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. WBZ-FM at HD Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics scored 10 straight points in the fourth quarter to double a 10-point lead, and they went on to win their sixth in a row last night, 113-95 in Sacramento over the Kings. Jason Tatum led the Green with 25 points, but he wasn't around for the fourth quarter after spraining his left ankle. Kristaps Porzingis didn't seem too worried about his teammate afterwards.
It was tough. Of course, like empathy right away, it always sucks to get hurt. But yeah, I'm glad it's nothing too bad, hopefully. As far as I know, probably, I don't know if you guys talked to him or not, but that's kind of good news. And yeah, it's just a tough situation, tough to see him like that. You could tell he was in a lot of pain, but I'm glad he's okay.
The Boston Globe is reporting Tatum left the arena without a walking boot or crutches, and he had only a slight limp. The Celtics' six-game road trip will continue tomorrow night in Phoenix. Patriots have brought back linebacker Christian Ellis. They have matched a 2-year offer sheet that he signed with the Raiders. Tennessee has signed former Patriots kicker Joey Sly. Pro Football Talk reported yesterday it is now a safe bet that Aaron Rodgers eventually signs with Pittsburgh, and the Red Sox won an exhibition game last night in Mexico 10-1 over the Monterrey Sultans. Richard Fitz went 6 innings, allowed 1 unearned run. Marcelo Mayer led the offense with a homer and 5 RBIs. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Service Credit Union. They've teamed with Charlie McAvoy again this season for 73 reasons to defend New England's first responders. Visit servicecu.org/73. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
To us, Boston pride runs deep.
I'm a Bostonian!
This is Boston's Home for Sports.
Bow, bow, bow!
98.5 The Sports Hub. Toucher and Hardy.
Such an fantastic explosion.
98.5.
John is sitting here and he goes, "Oh, well, Bryant, they run. Oh, they run. Oh, you couldn't stop them running.
Mm-hmm.
They run, 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 run." And then we had your friend from the Providence Journal on, and he goes, oh, do Bryant run, 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 run. That's going to really be a factor in the game. They run, 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 run. And I told you guys, I said, wait a second. Michigan State runs as much as any team in the country. And you both went, Bryant, run, 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 run. And I said, but no, guys, Michigan State, they run after made baskets. I said they run. They run. They're up there statistically, like top 4, top 5 teams running fast breaks. They run after made baskets, guys. And you went, Bryant, run. And I made the statement, John, you'll recall, I said, you are leaning so much into your knowledge of Bryant. I'm willing to learn about Bryant.
I don't remember you saying this at all.
Oh.
Of course I remember
John,
you saying this.
Don't.
I just wanted to see what he
John,
would do.
you're in the middle of being chastised.
I'm
Please
sorry.
do not interject and be glib. Now is not the time.
My mistake. Sorry. Continue,
Please
Fred.
continue. Fred.
My mistake.
I am just curious.
Yes.
Did you feel like a fool when you watched the game? Not in that you lost your bet, which I felt bad for. I didn't
This has a very Daniel Plainview, there will be blood element to it. You look like a fool.
But did you, at what point in the game, and I'm not talking about the outcome, obviously Michigan State's a blue blood program. They're not going to lose to Bryant. And
Nor did I say that they were going to, by the way.
These are all statements I'm making.
Okay.
And I wish you covered. I do. I wish you won your money. I'm sorry you lost your money. It's not that. I want to make it, we're hyper-focused on the running.
Mm-hmm.
At what point in that game did you go, my analysis was just terrible? At what point in that did you go, oh, Michigan State runs more than Bryant?
Michigan State's a lot faster, too, getting down the floor.
Yeah, they're better at running.
They're better at running.
You see how Bryant running.
It didn't take very long.
But no. You see why how Bryant running was not the right strategy against Michigan State. Michigan State runs. I don't know if did you see him at all play New Mexico, the Michigan State-New Mexico game?
I did not. That was a late game. I did not see it.
They had a basket after a made basket that they scored in a second and a half.
Oh, really?
They inbounded the ball. There was 2 passes, and they scored within a second and a half. I don't think they started. They were joking they hadn't started the shot clock yet by the time they scored. So now you understand what I was saying. Bryant should have done anything but run against Michigan State. They should have slowed everything way down.
The problem with that is they did it one way the entire season.
No, I know.
So
I know, but
and hold on, let me finish.
Yeah.
The problem was Michigan State was better at their game than they were by far.
I mean,
they had better athletes and they were faster down the floor. And I told Hardy this yesterday. I knew with about 15 minutes to go in a game, 12 minutes to go in a game, Bryant's down 8 or 10, they weren't going to cover. It was obvious.
Right.
Bryant doesn't have the size. They have good size for a mid-major. They didn't have the size that Michigan State had. We talked about that before the game. Bryant's top 2 big guys were in foul trouble, and they couldn't get a rebound. So it was obvious very quickly that A, I was going to lose my money and lose the bet to Hardy, and B, that Michigan State was going to win by a lot.
And the thing that emphasizes the athletic ability is Cohen Carr, the guy that played the best for Michigan State, is not he's an incredible athlete. He's not a great player by any stretch of the imagination. He's a big dunker. But he's not that.
Well, Bryant didn't force him to shoot from anywhere outside of 2 feet.
Well, you can't. Well, that's good because Michigan State can, as evidenced in in both games that they played.
Well, the other interesting thing is if you're Bryant and you just look at the numbers and look at the tape, you're like, okay, all we have to do is let Michigan State shoot threes, and we should be fine. Well, Michigan State made 4 or 5 in a row at one point, and all of a sudden the lead is 20. So there were a lot of things that went wrong, A, with my analysis, and B, with Bryant playing. Their best shooter couldn't shoot. Their best scorer couldn't shoot. He was clearly bothered by the defense. A lot of things.
Well, nothing you said about Bryant was necessarily wrong. In the outcome of the game, again, was that's why it's an 18.5-point spread. None of that was foolish. I just want you to take this as a lesson. You and the guy from the Providence Journal.
Bill Koch is his name.
That there's 2 teams playing in a game.
Yeah.
And that if
the games are not played in a vacuum, you're saying.
Just because you know a lot about one team.
Yeah.
I was willing to go, maybe Bryant will cover. I never said that they weren't going to cover. I didn't. And I said, Jesus, I saw Michigan State lose to Middle Tennessee State in a 15-2 game. I was even willing to concede they could lose. But I was just saying, at least I was taking the information you were giving me and going, But then I was countering it with, that's not probably a good strategy because of the team I know and I have watched. Anyway, I like that. I just wanted to say it to your face.
Thank you.
And then I'll get to my airplane story in 1 second. Brian, I'm interested in this. Brian, go ahead.
All right, Fred, there was a moment that ended the show yesterday. It was very weird. I think John Wallach slipped a little bit into his real how he feels. He mentioned a voodoo doll with the new Celtics owner, but I don't know if he was talking about him or Sean Grandy. I think it was just a slip on Wallach's part, but it was, if you play the tape, it was just a real awkward comment that I think we need to discuss here.
Oh, Brian, thank you for bringing that up. What is he referring to?
We were doing the email segment. And a guy asked me, now that there's a new Celtic owner, it is possible that Sean Grandy could get blown out of his own job. Do you have a voodoo doll that you stick every night in the hopes that this would happen? And I said, yes.
Wouldn't it be funny if the new owner, his first order of business was to fire Grandy? He's like, now that I've paid $6 billion for this team.
What about the tax implications for keeping all these players? Not a concern to me. Let me tell you what my chief concern is here.
Yeah,
the play-by-play guy on the radio.
Yeah, what was with the crying at the end of the last year? He says, I can't have this anymore. All right, so look, I am a sober individual now, and I am in no position to fight the friendly skies. So my position on anything on an airplane is I'm just going to sit there and take it. I do get frustrated in the airport on occasion. I find people to be very rude sometimes in airports. They had a sign up that you couldn't get into the Sky Lounge yesterday, only Diamond Medallion members, and I'm a Diamond Medallion member, and they were letting and then these jabronis were trying to get in and flaunt the rules, and they were being turned away, and they were arguing, which was stopping us Diamond members from getting in. I mean, there are things that I have to put my foot down on. But once we're on the plane, I've learned there's no shenanigans on the plane, because even if you believe you're morally right, there is no such thing as being morally right on a plane. It's best just to let it happen. So I put this on my Instagram page at Fred Toucher. I did not put a picture of anyone's name. And I can tell you right now, I did nothing. I did nothing. So it happened without incident. Now, 2 years, 3 years, sober or not, I would have said something, but I didn't this time. I'm just off. I'm not getting in trouble on a plane again. So my son and I are in the, not first class, but the other part of the plane, whatever it's called on Delta. I can't even remember.
Comfort.
Oh, it's so much better. And so
I find it very comfortable, Delta Comfort. You get a little extra leg room.
You get off the plane faster. I'll give you that. And you can get, well, being Diamond, I could get on my bag anyway. Zone 2.
Congratulations.
And sometimes I'll just say I was in the military and get on right away. Yeah. I mean, figure who's hurt? And so, all the military guys are getting on too. It's not like I'm taking anything away from anyone in the military.
Exactly.
I'm joking. And, get me kicked off the air because of that. So anyway, I'm in the aisle. Milo, my son, is in the middle, and there's a guy, an older guy older even than me, on the window seat. There's beverage service. There's not food or anything for us, but there's a beverage service. So everyone's got their tray table down. Everyone's got their drink on their tray. So about 10 minutes after they have served drinks, they just served the drinks 10 minutes later. There's no one going up and down the aisle. We're about 45 minutes into a 3-hour flight.
Now, can you describe who's sitting where? You're three people.
Yeah, I'm at the aisle. Miles in the middle. This guy's at the window.
Okay.
And so the first of all, we had to sit on the ground for an hour and a half because of a Cape Canaveral launch.
Cool.
So if anyone wanted to know how it went yesterday, I was watching it on my phone. It went great.
Oh my God.
Because I'm like, don't let this thing blow up because I'm never getting out of here.
I was just gonna say you're stuck there for days.
And by the way, that was my thought. I didn't know if it was manned or not. I was just like, I hope it doesn't blow up because you couldn't fly over the water because of the launch. So so we're on this thing for an hour and a half. So anyway, so they get the beverage service. So again, no one's walking by picking up stuff, nor are they coming anytime soon. Mile and I have our trays down. This guy's trays down. The guy takes his beverages. I have a picture of it up at Fred Toucher on Instagram. He takes his beverages off his tray. He puts them on Milo's tray, puts his tray up. He doesn't say anything. He just does it. Puts his tray up, takes out his laptop, and starts working. Never to take his drinks off Milo's tray again. And if you don't believe me, my son doesn't drink Starbucks coffee. He's 16. So that can tell you all you need to know about it. He just put his trash on Milo's tray, put his tray up, and then did it work. And then an hour later when they came to pick stuff up, he didn't take the stuff off Milo's tray and give it to the guy. Milo had to throw his refuse away. So I texted Milo while this was going on, and I said, did the guy, I can read it to you. I said, let me just find it real quick. It will take 10 seconds so I have evidence of this.
Again, there's no excuse for this. There's no condoning it. But the first thing I wanted to know is, was he on the window side and essentially getting the trash closer to where it was going to be picked up? Because it's not acceptable. But I just told you no. Yeah, had he done it from the aisle and placed it over in the middle, that would have been grounds for him going to jail.
Oh, I don't see a difference in the least.
He
left trash on my son's tray for an hour.
It's terrible.
An hour's an hour. I don't care if it's closer.
Behavior.
Yeah. That what you just raised is I don't see as an issue at all. So this was the entire text exchange. Did that guy ask if he could put his trash on your tray? And then Milo said, no, don't say anything. And I said, I'm not going to. And so I left it up to the people. I said, what would you do? And everyone's like, oh, tell him to F off or like throw the trash in his lap. Well, you can't do that. Now, you should be able to.
But that's psychotic behavior back. That's crazy.
Asking him to take his trash back, I would argue is
pick
not
it up and throw it on him.
Yeah, you can't do that. I mean, now you're in trouble.
And here's the other thing too.
But there was a time in the past, even if I hadn't been drinking, where I would have put the guy's tray down and put his trash back on his tray and said, "Dude, what the hell's wrong with you?"
Right.
I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything.
Was he using his laptop on his actual lap?
Yeah. So like he couldn't open it with the tray down.
Okay. So here's the other thing.
So he'll never have kids, even though he's 80.
Which would have stopped me probably from doing anything either. Is had I been sitting next to him and he did it on my tray, I would have been like, "What the hell's the matter with you? Take your," I almost swore, "take your stuff back and or do something with it." But Milo was sitting next to him. So had you said anything, it would have put Milo in the uncomfortable position of having to sit next to the guy for the rest of the flight.
Which is a great point. Yeah. But in the past, I would have said, well, that justifies what I'm doing because I'm protecting a minor. Like I'm not protecting, but I'm advocating for a minor.
Yeah.
Would have been the way I was looking at it. Now, if you're wondering, Fred, when did you get in trouble on a flight before? I got into trouble a few years ago on a flight because my daughter was flipping out, and I asked two people if we could switch seats so I could sit next to my daughter, and they wouldn't answer me. And I'm like, hey, and I was stressed out and everything else, and then it wasn't a good situation. So I'm never doing it again. I'm never saying anything again, right or wrong. I'm never saying anything again. But I did. But according to Instagram, people were like, "This is unacceptable behavior," and I tend to agree. And he didn't seem like an unfriendly guy, right? He didn't seem to be like a dick. Which is even more fascinating because if he was just an a-hole, you would just go, "Oh, he's an a-hole." But it seemed to be he thought this was acceptable. Like, I don't want to have my tray up anymore. I'm going to put your tray's down, so I'm going to put my trash on it. Which is strange.
Oh, yeah.
Because he wasn't like a drunk a-hole, like putting like 8 beer cans on it, and you're just like, oh, he was drunk. He was, but again, if you don't believe me, my son wasn't drinking Starbucks coffee, and you guys know I don't drink coffee. Evidence is there. They don't give you your beverages in Starbucks cups.
How old was this guy?
Let's shoot at 70.
And what was his race? What would you guess?
One of the bad ones.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. He was white. He was white. He checked out. Oh, we wouldn't have sat next to him if he wasn't. We would have asked him to move.
Right. Yeah, I'm asking dumb questions now. Did he look like he might be a gay in any way? I mean, these are the important things that we have to get to the bottom of.
Not well dressed enough. No. And again, if he was gay, then I would have had to ask some questions, and then we would have moved. If they were not answered to my...
I was just trying to figure out what's wrong with this guy, you know?
Exactly. Believe me, I get it. I mean, you got to do the ocular check. Keith, go ahead.
Yeah, so I took a flight from L.A. to Palm Springs, which is like a smaller plane. So not to be too bougie, but we were flying first class, and the first class seats are smaller that have like the regular tables. Right. And a woman rested her drink on my table the same way that she did on your son's. And she was wearing all white denim. Her drink was Diet Coke, and she continued to do it throughout the flight. So I just acted like I got up and accidentally nudged the table, and the drink spilled all over her white denim. So, that's a tough ask for Milo, but there is always the Mickey the Dunce, accidentally nudge, accidentally spill, turbulence option.
Okay, well, I will tell you this, is that so we got a rental car, and it was a good experience. But the rental car guy dropped us off. When he dropped us off, he's like, I can't pull over to the curb, so I'm going to have to let you guys off here. Fine. So we get off, and a guy driving a Tesla. This is unbelievable. So we're walking, and he's trying to get around the bus. He can't. So the bus is blocking him. So we walk between him and the bus. And for some reason we get that 4 inches between him and the bus is the most important spot in the world to him. Mm-hmm. Again, there's a big bus not us. And he nudges like almost to touch us. And Milo usually is really like, I don't want to rock the boat. And he like put his foot against the car. And I'm like, and the guy's like, duh, and flicked him off. And then I was like, oh no, F you, mother effer.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Because that's when I lose my cool. I was encouraging him to leave the car, which is very smart at the airport. But we weren't on a plane. Because then I went because Miles just like nudged it with the side of his foot, and then the guy flipped him off, and then I lost my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't yell, but I was like in a calm tone, mother effer, then come. If you want to hit us with your car, get out of the car. If this is what you're doing, I mean, he tried to hit us with his car. Now he was rolling, and we didn't jaywalk in front of him. We were between him and a bus. He can't get by the bus, but he was in a Tesla, and not any Elon Musk stuff either.
Yeah.
That's your own thing. He's a prick. He's a prick with his Tesla. They drive themselves. Good. I hope it drives yourself into a brick wall. Scott, go ahead.
How's your trip?
It was a good trip. It was good.
Good.
Thank you.
I don't have a problem with that guy, did.
You wouldn't have, or
Well, I mean,
would
I don't fit in seats, so it doesn't really, I got to put the stuff somewhere,
So you would put your refuse on someone else's tray that you didn't know?
No, I'd have just thrown it on the floor. You know what I mean? Or stuff it in the.
Well, you know what?
Right.
That's what Wallach and Fred would do too, and then leave it there, whether there or a movie theater. So.
Well, when you go to the airport again, Fred? When are you flying out again?
Next month, I'm going to the Bahamas.
Wow. So you're not going to the airport for like that whole month, huh?
No, I have to go to the airport tomorrow. I have to drop my son off at 4:00 in the morning.
Oh, all right. I'll see you tomorrow then, buddy.
No,
I'm not.
He's not coming to work after that.
Wait a minute. Excuse me?
I am taking a vacation day, for I do not wish to come to work after I have not slept the night before.
What time is the drop off?
Someone told me you were making fun of me yesterday. Which I appreciate, but what exactly are you making fun of me about?
I'm trying to do the time aspect of it. Like, okay, so I've
taken 2 vacation days this year and a sick day. If that was what you would like to know.
All right, man. I gotta let you go.
What is his deal? I got it before. I took 2 vacation days. Do you think I want to take a vacation day tomorrow? I'm taking a vacation day.
We're very late. We'll discuss it later.
Okay. We'll be back with Alex Barth.
in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Dutcher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
If you can move back not super far, call it in like the 10 to 15 range, right? If somebody's going to give you a pick 10 to 15 and a future first, that's where it starts for me. There has to be a future first on the table if I'm moving down. Beyond that, and then probably a second round pick. You need a first round pick this year. Obviously, you're swapping the picks. A first round pick next year. Second round pick I could take this year or next year.
We're not getting that. We are Dutcher and Hardy. Alex Barth. He covers all things sports, but he loves football very much, and he has got videos and articles on 985thesportshub.com. That's why it's very important to subscribe to that. And Alex, I've seen it. Alex has got his Patriots mock-up, and it's Alex. First of all, you have Travis Hunter falling to the Patriots at 4. Do you not?
I do. Yes. I initially, when I did that, it was actually Ted McMillan, and then the Giants signed Jameis Winston, and there's all this talk about, well, now these guys could fall, so I figured I'd try to make it as updated as possible.
So you think the Jameis Winston thing means that they're more likely to take Sanders at 2?
Or at 3? Yeah.
Or at 3, I'm sorry, at 3. Yeah, 3.
The way I look at it, everybody was surprised Daboll and Shane kept their jobs, right? That feels like a situation where they probably have to get to the playoffs to keep their jobs again another year. Not that Sanders is a sure thing, but at least there's some upside there. Are you betting your job on Jameis Winston? I would just kind of be surprised if that's ultimately the plan.
Okay, well, here's what the point's the same. It's just different circumstances.
Yeah.
I think that they know they can't make the playoffs next year. So the reason they would take Sanders is so they could go to Mara and they could go, well, look, we've got our quarterback of the future. You got to give us time to develop him.
Makes sense too.
Is the way I would look at it, because there's no way the Giants are making the playoffs in that division with that talent. There's not a chance, in my opinion.
I agree.
All right, so you like Hunter, and then if you take Hunter there, you're playing him at receiver, is what you're thinking.
Yeah, that makes the most sense for the Patriots. They need a receiver. Mike Vrabel talked at the Combine about how hard it is to get these coverage dictating top of the depth chart wide receivers. If you don't draft them, they never hit free agency. They're rarely available via trade. Hunter's probably their best chance to get that guy in this draft. So if they can get him there, maybe you find a way that you mix him in on defense here and there down the road, but they need a wide receiver. I think he does have significant upside at wide receiver. He's a little more raw, but there's clearly a path there to him becoming a top tier guy. It's just a matter of the team getting him there.
Yeah, we've had some interesting guys on. We had a guy from CBS on last week who had a mock where he had the lineman from Missouri going ahead of the Patriots, and then the kid from LSU going after the Patriots, and the Patriots taking
was it Hunter?
It might have been Hunter.
I think it was Hunter in between the two tackles.
But it was funny because he had the two tackles going sandwiched around Hunter.
How do you pronounce it? Is it Membo? Is that how you pronounce it?
Membu.
Membu. Oh, so he had Membu 3rd and Campbell 5th.
And Campbell 5th, right. Yeah. And so let me just throw that out to you because, look, there's a chance Sanders – now you're hearing Sanders could not get taken in the first round. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff.
It's essentially what Bert said, top 3 picks or could slide out of round 1 altogether.
Right. Yeah, because, I mean, you've seen that. You saw that with Pickett, and you saw that there's a –
Will Levis.
Yeah, as sure as you are to get fired if you don't make the playoffs enough, if you're Daboll, you pick the wrong quarterback and you're gone. Even if you get to survive a little while, Joe Douglas, eventually that Zach Wilson pick got him fired. Okay, so let's just go through the scenario. Do you think that that's ridiculous? Do you think that the value of it, regardless of the Patriots' needs or anything, from what you've seen from those two, we'll call them offensive linemen, if they're tackles or not, remains to be seen. I guess the kid from Missouri is a right tackle, that he could play right tackle. Do you think that their talent warrants being top 5 picks?
Their talent does. Now, the question is, are you going to draft with Will Campbell if you think he's a guard? Guards don't go top 5. That doesn't happen. So you weigh the positional value. Membu is a right tackle. He's only played right tackle in his career. The success rate of guys who are career college right tackles moving to the left side in the NFL is very low. And we saw the Patriots try to do this with a couple guys last year, and it didn't work. So right tackle is a premium-ish position, but it's obviously not left. So I don't think you're drafting either of those guys as your franchise left tackle. They're both really good. They're both really talented, and teams may look at it and just say, hey, we want to upgrade our offensive line. And if you do that, then they're both really good options. But if you're a team specifically looking to get a left tackle that high in the draft, both of those guys come with significant questions and would be outliers at the position.
And by the way, we got this in Slack. Daniel Jeremiah has said that if both Carter and Hunter are off the board, that the Patriots should get Ashton Genty, the running back out of Boise State, which is very wise when you're building a team.
Yeah, you got to explain this one to me, Barth, because I've seen it a couple of different places now in a couple of different scenarios where they end up with a running back there at 4.
So you hear people use the term best player available a lot this time of year, right? Just take the best player available. I think that's a fallacy, because what does best player available mean? Are we just talking about
punter
out of 100? Who's the best player?
Yeah, I mean, what if you have a punter? Like you say, the punter is the best player, right?
There'd be kickers and running backs up and down the board if we were really doing best player available. But okay, well then people say, well, no, it's only certain positions. Well, now it's not best player available. Now you're putting qualifiers on it. So if the Patriots, the argument for Hunter is simple. You can disagree, but it's simple. If the Patriots truly want the best football player available, Travis Hunter is a better running back than Ted McMillan is a receiver or Will Campbell is a tackle, right? So that would be the argument. Now, then you bring the positional value into it, and do they have the line to support a running back? Is that really what's going to be best for Drake May? You can go do that thing. But if you're somebody that's arguing the Patriots should just take the best player available, period, full stop, whether you know it or not, you're kind of arguing for Ashton Genty.
Well, I'll ask you this. Do you think that the Eagles made a mistake getting rid of trading or letting Eagles,
the Giants letting Barkley go?
Yeah. Do you think it was a mistake, the Giants letting Barkley go?
Yeah.
See,
it's
I
kind
don't.
of a unique scenario, but yes.
See,
that guy
don't.
Tracy was pretty good for them last
But
year.
also this is that, do you think if they pay Barkley that they're making the playoffs last year or their season is immeasurably better?
It would be better, and I think they'd be in a better place right now.
Oh, see, I think that's a luxury. I think that Saquon Barkley has a year like that behind that Eagles line with those Eagles weapons, and that's a great team that put them over the top. Go ahead.
I don't think Barkley would have the same year he had in Philly. Really, let me go back, because my full answer to that question is, if you were going to give somebody whatever it is, the big money running back contract isn't that much. It's like 14, 15 a year.
Mm-hmm.
The mistake was paying Daniel Jones.
Right.
Because if they hadn't paid Daniel Jones, they could have paid Barkley. They just re-signed Darius Slayton to the same contract they would have given Barkley, essentially, because wide receiver and running back money is so different. So once they moved on from Daniel Jones, yes, the right decision was probably moving on from Barkley and hitting a total reset. If they let Daniel Jones go, they pay Barkley, they draft Neighbors. Now you have a quarterback coming in to what's a much better situation, and it's going to be easier to get that guy going. I guess would be my full answer to that.
Yeah, but the thing is that, running backs, you got until they're 28, basically, unless they're a total freak. And I don't know. I don't know if you're not going to win while they're playing. That's why I think taking the kid out of Boise State, the running back out of Boise State, I think he's great. I mean, he's obviously a phenomenal running back, but their windows are so short. Because people use the example of Gibbs in Detroit. Well, they took Gibbs, later in the first round. I think they had 2 first-round picks. They took a middle linebacker and a running back that year. And now that's great, but Gibbs is the difference. First of all, he splits time. And second of all, he's a change-up running back on a great team with a phenomenal offensive line. So that's when I think you take a running back in the first round I think it's completely worth it if you're on the cusp of winning. Like, not necessarily you're a Super Bowl contender or you're building something. Like because obviously it's like I'd rather have a great tight end than a great running back. Just because a tight end can play longer, unless they're Gronkowski, who was hurt coming in. So there's all that. All right, and then you have Alex. You have them really loading up on the line as the draft goes on. What do you think of the depth of the offensive line in this draft?
I think at tackle it's not great, and that's why I have them moving up from 38. You know, a lot of the projections right now. So after Ursery and Campbell go, Banks is probably going to go somewhere mid-late teens. After them, there's a group of tackles. It's Ariante Ursery, Josh Connerly, Josh Simmons. Simmons is coming off he had the same injury as Cole Strange. I forget what it's technically called, something with the kneecap, but he's probably not going to play this year. As good of a player as he is, I don't think he's an option for the Patriots because they need their first-round picks to play. So you're really talking about Ariante Ursery and Josh Connerly. There's a significant drop-off after that. So I think those guys are going to go higher than expected because we saw last year. Every tackle went a round earlier than was projected because there's no tackles and everybody's desperate and they're reaching for these guys. So if you want one of those two guys who has a shot at starting year one, I think you have to move up, get into the back end of the first round because you might miss on a starting tackle if you don't do that. I think it's a little bit deeper at guard. There's some better options on day 3. I actually think this is a pretty solid center draft. If they, Bradbury's a stopgap, they want to try to get a long-term guy, whether it be Drew Kendall from BC, who I have, Jared Wilson from Georgia, Jake Majors from Texas. It's a little better there. So the further you get to the middle of the line, the better the depth. But I think they're going to, if they don't take tackle at the top, they're probably going to have to get aggressive if they want to find a guy to start year one.
All right, just real quick because we're out of time because I went late with the last break.
Okay.
You go through the 7 rounds. In all reality, what do you think of these guys? 6th, 7th round guys, the running back and the defensive tackle. Do you in the center, and then I guess the center in the 7th round could play. It's a kid from BC. You got a local kid.
Doug Marone, who's on the staff with Vrabel, was there last year. So.
Yeah, but would you think? Well, look, Milton was a 6th round pick, and look at him. Now you're going to flip him for a first.
Going to get 2 first rounders.
So go ahead.
Look, Quint Allen's the big one, the running back from Syracuse.
Yeah.
He is that kind of pass-catching back that they haven't had in a few years. I'd love to see him get a player like that back in the offense and bring that role back. So I'd be excited if they were able to get a player like him, just what it signifies for what they're doing for the offense. The other 2 guys, Nazir Stackhouse, Drew Kendall, developmental linemen. Maybe they stick, maybe they don't, but you're drafting traits on day 3. Stackhouse is big and powerful. He's a run stopper. That's all he is, but that's what he does. And Kendall has, the IQ and the toughness that sometimes helps carry you on the offensive line.
I mean, there have been centers taken very late in the 7th. I believe Mr. Irrelevant was a Michigan kid one year that ended up playing forever. So
David Andrews was undrafted. So
right there you have it. All right, Alex Barth, it's all great stuff. All the articles, all the videos up at 985thesportshub.com. We'll keep talking to you up until the draft. We appreciate the time, Alex.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. I went very late last time, but now I don't even know what's coming up because Hardy says he has information about Zolak, and because he translates Zolak to me that is going to piss me off. So I look forward to hearing that. It's going to anger me. So we got that going on. All right. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline. is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
He was making fun of me yesterday, and then I didn't remember that happened. And then Scott called in today, and he's like, something about vacation, and I didn't understand what he was talking about. And then off air, Hardy was like, I know what he was talking about. And I'm like, oh, should we save it for the air? And he goes, yeah, it's going to piss you off. So that's always better to save for the air. So what happened?
Okay, so Zoe called in earlier and asked some very leading questions that he knew the answers to about what's going on tomorrow. And he said he would see you tomorrow. And you said, no, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. This all stemmed from a conversation that we had yesterday. Zoe and Beetle came in to the midday show. Where's Fred? I said, oh, he's in Florida with Milo. He's coming back. He was like, oh. Now, Zoe listens to the show, and we all, know about each other's lives. So he had some knowledge of Milo going to Florida for baseball. He's like, oh, I thought he wasn't going. I said, no. That whole thing, that's tomorrow. And, Milo leaves, or that's on Wednesday, and Milo leaves for that second Florida trip on Wednesday. And he said, oh, is Fred going? I said, no, but he won't be here tomorrow. Now, I knew Zoe would enjoy this, so I told him what was going on. I play a huge role in this. I am 100% to blame. Okay?
Well, we're doing it on the radio, so thank you.
Yes. I told Zoe that the reason why you would not be in tomorrow is essentially because you had to get up early. And that is the factual matter of the thing.
Yes.
That you are unable to do your early morning radio show because you have to get up early tomorrow.
Right.
Right. And Zoe thought that was comical, and he doesn't understand it. And quite frankly, I don't understand it. And I also understand that this will puzzle you and anger you. It has nothing to do with you taking the day off. I'll take whatever days off we want to and need to. I just find it, and Zoe especially was just beside himself. He could not understand why you having to get up early tomorrow would somehow not prevent you, but at least compel you to then take the day off because you have to get up early.
Oh, well, fair enough. One is, I guess it's sad because I don't know what else I'll do with my days off. I mean, I got to take vacation at some point. So, I mean, this seems like as good a time as any. And second of all, there's no way I'm going to be able to sleep tomorrow night. I got to get up at 3. I don't know what time you guys get up, but 3 o'clock in the morning, and then having to go to the airport, deal with him, getting him up, which is going to be really fun, getting him motivated and making sure he has all his stuff and doesn't forget anything. And that whole flip out is going to be a big, huge pain in the ass. Then I got to get him to the airport, get him to the gate, sit around making sure that everything goes smoothly because you have to be there. God bless his coach and the coaches that are taking him down there, but they got to deal with a bunch of high school boys that are going down to Florida. So I got to sit there, and then I'm going to come back. So say I get back he's got to be there at 4:20, and then say I leave there at 4:40, and then I come here. Then I'm here, which is not a ridiculously early time. I'm here like a little after 5, which maybe you guys get here at that time.
Right.
And then I've been up by the time the show goes on for 3 hours. But I also, there's no way I'm sleeping tonight because I know I have to get up at 3. So, like, there are mornings where I get up at 3 or I can't sleep where I'll go into work, but I hate those days. So I've switched days with the kids with my ex-wife. She's nice enough to do it. So basically, I drop him off at the airport, come home, go to sleep, get up, and then I have nothing else I have to do during the day. And there's things I can do and people I can see that I want to see, and I have that freedom, which I never have. A usual Wednesday Wednesday's tomorrow. Yeah, usual Wednesday would be, coming here, working, getting Zoe, then later in the evening getting Milo, and making them dinner and doing all those things, dropping them off at their mom's at 9 o'clock, and then going to bed. Now, tomorrow's wide open. Now, tomorrow is I drop him at the airport, and there is nothing else for me to do until Thursday morning when I have to be here. I mean, I have to, prepare for the show or whatever, but in terms of responsibility, I don't have to get Zoe to school. I don't have to deal with him at all. The day is my oyster. I can do with it which I please. I can sleep till 1 PM if I want to, and that is my reward. That was my thinking.
The fact that you can go back to sleep after getting up, going to the airport, coming home is also puzzling to me and everyone else.
The sleep is going to be that is magnificent sleep. That is the sleep because the sun hasn't come up. I'm a zombie. That is, I get into bed. There's no pressure to fall asleep because if I want to, I can stay in bed all day. That is the sleep of angels. That will be the deepest sleep I've had since I've had a colonoscopy. That will be real colonoscopy.
Why don't you
sleep.
schedule a colonoscopy tomorrow? Make it a real humdinger.
I would if they would. I don't know if insurance would cover it because I just had one a couple years ago. But that is my thinking. Is that because my weekdays are so busy driving those kids around and doing all that stuff. If I wasn't able to switch with Stephanie, I wouldn't have done it.
But let's workshop the trip a little bit. I mean, you're gonna pack everything that Milo needs tonight and have it in the car or have it ready by the front door tomorrow or tonight.
It's
before you go to bed.
That easy. Like last night, he came over at 9 o'clock to find his hat, his school baseball cap. I don't know if you understand. It's not that easy. It's not, and it's 2 houses of stuff.
Did he find the hat?
Yeah, I had it.
Okay.
I knew where it was. But he came over at 9 o'clock at night. His friend dropped him off to see if he had the hat.
To get the hat.
Yeah, because what would I be doing at 9 o'clock at night? I got nothing to do. I got no one over. I had nothing to do. So that's running around like the Keystone Cops. But there's 2 houses where the stuff can be. Now, they're very close to one another, and I have a key to her house, and she has a key to my house. So, but you're acting like this. This is a turnkey thing because him and his mom got to get it together. And then if by some reason that happens, there is going to be a shortage of things. And his team, it's not like he just throws on a pair of T-shirts, a T-shirt and a pair of shorts or a pair of baseball pants. They have practice clothes I had to buy. They're playing games down there. They have different uniforms that he's got to bring. You got to remember he's got a bat bag that's got to have all his crap in it that he can't forget. And there's stuff. He took a mitt because he threw while we were down in Florida because the season's starting. He's got practice today up in Groton. The amount of things that will go wrong.
You're manifesting it. I don't want you to be overwhelmed by this. You don't have to be overwhelmed.
Right. So I told you that I dropped them off.
Did you make a list?
Did I tell you that? Make a list. Did I tell you that I dropped
twice?
That I know, Adam, we're very late, but I tell you that I dropped them off at 9 o'clock at their mother's house, right? Which is the parental agreement. It's fine. It's loose. It's fine. Probably still to this day, and I've been separated for almost 3 years. The amount of times that I have to go back to that house after I've dropped them off, solid, let's be honest, 5% of the time. It used to be 25%. Still 5% of the time, they have invariably left something at my house that they did not know that they needed.
Like a hat.
It's great when your ex lives 2 towns over, and you got to do that too.
Yeah, well, I bought a place 0.3 miles from my old house because I knew this was going to happen. So there you go. So that is my explanation. Take it for what you will. But it is a vacation day. I'm not calling in sick. So and it's my prerogative. And maybe, if anything, it's just sad. That you can give. I'll give you sad, but that's about it. All right. We'll be right back.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.
He scores! What a blast by Pastrnak! Holiday rings. Good night.
WBZMM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
There is both good and bad news for Jason Tatum this morning.
Tatum Jones behind his back, lost it, but chased it down before Keegan Murray can get there. Tatum out of the wing, 5 on the shot clock, launches a tough contested 3 and drills it anyway.
I lost the ball. I found the ball.
Jason Tatum, you are ridiculous.
That is Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Celtics won their 6th in a row, 113-95 in Sacramento. Tatum scored 25 points and added 7 rebounds and 8 assists. That's the good news. The bad is he had to leave the game in the third quarter with a sprained left ankle and didn't return. The initial reports are he avoided serious injury. The Boston Globe is reporting he left the arena last night with a slight limp, no walking boot or crutches. The Green will continue their road trip in Phoenix tomorrow night. Patriots have brought back linebacker Christian Ellis. They have signed a 2-year offer sheet. They have matched, rather, the 2-year offer sheet that he has signed with the Las Vegas Raiders. Pro Football Talk reported yesterday it's a safe bet Aaron Rodgers eventually signs with Pittsburgh. And Marcelo Mayer had a home run, 5 RBIs. Red Sox won an exhibition game last night in Mexico, 10-1 over the Monterrey Sultans. The two teams will play again tonight. And then the Red Sox open up their regular season Thursday afternoon in Texas against the Rangers. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the NCAA Frozen Four Regional at SNHU Arena in Manchester, New Hampshire, March 28th and March 30th. Get your tickets at snhuarena.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's called rising and grinding.
Start your
Got your finger on the pulse, Fred. Seldom right and never wrong.
Right here. Is that Toucher or is that Hardy?
Kinda looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass.
The Sports Hub.
To battle one Sarge GPT. This took place on Friday? Thursday?
It was
Thursday.
Yeah, last Thursday.
Thursday.
Right.
So the voting has been up for a while now, and we didn't get a chance to kind of recap this on Friday because you were gone, Fred, or yesterday for that matter. So today we will finally get the results of the polling and preview who will be up next in these matches. Sarge GPT is an entity unto himself, as we know.
GPT is booting up.
Welcome. You've got Sarge. Sup, Fred. Sup, Hardy. Sup, so. My algorithm operates with military-level precision. It's AI, baby. Sarge GPT reporting for duty.
So imagine having an artificial intelligence, Sarge GPT, in a battle of wits against Robbie Roadsteamer, who is among the wittiest, most evolved people I know. And that's what took place here in the studio last Thursday. It was a battle for the ages.
Yeah, because we haven't been able to have Sarge on in like years and years and years. And John from Vegas, I have to blame for some of that, at least. And so we decided, like, let's get an AI Sarge. And also AI is the future. All of us are going to be replaced by machines. So why not be on the forefront of it instead of being behind?
Yes.
All right. So do you have something you want to play for Robbie, or do you want me to just play this audio
let's just
now?
go ahead. Yeah.
All right. So if you missed it, this was last
Thursday.
Last Thursday. Robbie was put in a very difficult position. He's used to rabble-rousing, at events and things of that nature. He's used to fronting a band, the Sweatpants Boners. But had he ever been up against Machine? This was like Bobby Fischer or someone playing against a computer.
Deep Blue.
Yeah, this is a real man versus machine. Who would win? And here is a small portion of what happened last Thursday. What is going on is that, as you know, Robbie, you have to evolve. You can't always have Sarge come in.
All right.
So you today are going to be battling against a computer. This is not going to go well.
No.
But, and Robbie will be going against Sarge AI.
Hey, this is what killed the Who. So what, am I supposed to debate him? What is this?
I don't know. I don't know exactly what you're supposed to do.
I want to be in the idea room when these are happening on Thursday afternoon.
I don't understand exactly how this whole thing works, but Sarge...
Hardy won't even look at me anymore.
Well, he can't. He's got 7,000 buttons in front of him.
He's hitting the same button over and over, and he's acting like he's consumed right now.
He is
and he won't even look at me.
He can't look at you. The board is faced the other way.
Sarge GPT would like the number for a Saugus 7.
Oh, okay. So he actually wants to get in maybe
common
like
ground,
a virtual relationship.
Isn't Sarge in real life and GBT like asexual?
No, he's getting married as a
He's
matter
getting
of
married to what?
Panties. Sarge GPT approves. Please place all panties in hard drive.
All right. Well,
I can picture Hardy at 3 a.m. putting this into the system. He's got a family upstairs. He's in the basement typing in panties.
Is it? Well, you're assuming that he's typing things in.
He's feeding this thing and stuff. I see it over here.
No, he's pressing buttons, but Sarge GPT is the one that is saying all this.
Oh, listen to Steve Jobs over here explaining it.
Well, I am very similar to him in my success.
Too much shtick. Must reboot.
All right, so there you go. It was very difficult for Robbie. Very difficult for Robbie on the Toucher and Hardy page on Instagram.
Yes, that's how you vote. You follow Toucher and Hardy on Instagram. For each of these matchups, we allow you to vote a winner through. And in this particular case, it was Robbie Roadsteamer who was able to defeat the scourge of artificial intelligence that is Sarge GPT. 67% of the vote to Robbie, 33%.
Did anyone vote in this thing?
Yes.
Okay, so people did vote.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because Robbie is
New woke order.
Okay,
because whenever Robbie's on, he's always very polarizing.
Yes.
So I am a little surprised that Robbie won.
No political violence.
What?
That's Robbie.
Is that Rob?
That's Rob.
That's Rob.
That's old school.
Yeah,
Political violence.
Yeah, that's Rob, not Robbie Roadsteamer. And I was telling our own Rob Poole Hardy, I was telling him, I'm like, I really like Rob and Robbie Roadsteamer, but it's almost creepier when it's Rob because he's so like nice. I almost think that's a character too, because he's like so overly nice that like Roadsteamer is really funny and quick and everything. And then when he even asked if he could break character off air, he's like, "Can I break character?" And you're like, "Yeah, you can break character," because he knows Hardy obviously really well. I don't know him that well, and when then he gets like, "Can I take a picture with you guys like to put on my Instagram?" And we're like, "Yeah, sure." And then it's like, I don't think that's you either. Like you're somewhere in the middle there. Like I'm not positive what's what at
Hardy,
this point.
You can speak on spending time. I mean, you and I both spent time with Robbie and Rob, and sometimes there's almost a third that kind of bridges the gap between the two. If you spend enough time with them,
Fred hit
the lines are blurred.
Fred hit the nail on the head, and as we sit down for like long meals and and really spend time together, yes, the like any one of us, there's our on-air personality. There's our personality with our family, and then the real person that you get is somewhere in the middle when you're just hanging and relaxed. And the Robbie Rob middle is something that's a mixture of both.
Yeah, and I mean the dude really has a Kowloon tattoo. The dude really has a tattoo of the dinosaur, like in Saugus. That's dinosaur. So there can be only so much character. I mean, he is walking around with these tattoos. He didn't do it as he's not, Carrot Top. He didn't go around doing prop comedy with his arms. I mean, he does want these things on his body.
He wants the Carlton Fist tattoo that when he flexes his muscle a certain way, it looks like he is trying to wave the ball fair.
Even though that doesn't work. But yes.
It works a little bit.
Not the way it was intended.
Okay,
we all make mistakes with tattoos. Look, I have a tattoo that's a big mistake too. But listen, that didn't work the way he wanted it to work. But there you go.
Well, blame musculature. Blame the human body. It's not his fault.
Well, listen. It can only be so much character when the guy's really completely tattooed in Saugus landmarks of old.
Yes, the Route 1 mini golf dinosaur fighting Jesus with nunchucks. That's a big tattoo on the right arm. And what was the new
and
one?
one that will not get you into heaven. That's for sure. That's not one that's getting you to heaven. All right, so he wins.
Yes.
All right, so I'm so confused. How many more of these?
We got
do we
one
have?
left.
We have
It's a big one.
Yeah, we got one more matchup happening this Thursday. Would you like me to say who it is now, or do you want to wait and announce that on Thursday?
All right, so is there a reason we're doing Thursday? I'm just curious.
Yes, because Thursday will be the last of this round. And
Okay.
then next week we'll have what will be our semifinals, which will be 2 more matchups, and then we'll have the finals.
All right, fair enough. Okay, thank you. All right, yeah, please do. Please announce, because I can't remember.
We will be of the final of the first round. We will have on Thursday Bird and Adolfo Gonzalez Jr.
Ooh,
Wow. All right. Now you might think, okay, these are not like crazy improvisational people to have on the air, but both are extraordinarily popular because Bird's popularity is not even at all dependent on the show. Bird is just known for some reason everywhere. Everywhere you go, Bird is very well known, and everyone loves Adolfo and misses Adolfo greatly. So you're telling me on Thursday we will have Bird and Adolfo on the air?
I'm reaching out to Bird literally right now.
Yeah,
to
well,
confirm
Bird will
Thursday.
come in, and we know Adolfo can come in. Adolfo, by the way, I'm very happy to know Adolfo has a lot of plans because we've asked him to get audio from Mavericks games, and he has been occupied. He was supposed to go this Friday.
Interesting.
I wonder if he did it.
What is taking precedent over getting?
He's got like social events and work, and it's good. I'm very happy that he has them.
Okay.
I mean, I really am, truly am. Like, I'd much rather have him have a lot. I don't even know why I'm saying this on the air. It sounds like I'm being a jerk off. Like, but I'm much happier that he has things going on than him able to get audio for us. That I really am. So Adolfo seems to be doing pretty well over there in Dallas. So good. And then we can have them talk to each other. I mean, Adolfo's obviously not going to be in studio, but Adolfo is coming up on his own to see a podcast, this Doughboys podcast that he is in love with. He loves the Doughboys podcast.
Is he staying with you this time?
No,
Or staying
no,
in the
I'm not
hotel,
paying for
or-
the flight or anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
Whoa.
coming up on his own. He made plans. He's like, his friends are into this Doughboys podcast. I can mention it a million times because I don't think it's good.
He's paying for the flight. He's finding his own place to stay.
I don't got a cash. Sorry.
He's not staying in a hotel or anything, but he's got friends he's staying with.
But he's not relying on you for any of it.
I'm not doing.
It's a
He's going to
crash
come
at your
in,
place.
and I'll have to make that happen. Like, I'll pay for him to come up here and stuff. Like, I'll pay for the lift or whatever to get him up
Okay.
here.
All right.
But in terms of flights, accommodations,
Fantastic.
socially,
Great.
I have nothing to do with it. He's coming up to see these Doughboys fellas that he loves
You can't
so much.
find a decent sandwich place around here.
That's right. You can't find a decent sandwich place. And Adolfo always kicked around the idea of moving back up here.
Continue crushing your enemies.
Now, how he's going to afford that and what he's going to do for a living is anyone's guess, because this show is full, and Beasley ain't paying no one nothing to do nothing. So let's be honest. The job situation here is, because I know I have to say, because it makes Nick very, very nervous when he hears that Adolfo's coming back up here. But we look forward to talking Adolfo on Thursday. Maybe I'll reach out and see if he got that audio.
And having Bird, in studio is always a treat.
It's like peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, and we'll figure out something to do with him. And we won't make fun of Curry College or anything like that.
Is that what they're called? Whatever.
Where he has a degree.
The bad people come, they end up taking her, and
All right. So Sarah from Everett has moved on, as has Guy from Machine and Robbie Roadsteamer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a victory for humanity. That is a victory for humans. And then it will be Adolfo versus Bird, and who moves on from that. Then we'll have our semifinals and all of those things. Hopefully we never – when Al Cole passes away, if he dies before this show is over, not this particular show today, but before this show is over, we have to have an Al Cole AI just to keep him forever.
Oh, absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
just
that.
to have,
I like the idea
to have
as
him
well.
live forever, like one of the hologram.
Al Cole is here.
I know, but you're alive, and so we still have the pleasure of being able to talk.
Oh, there.
All right, we'll be back. Jimmy Butler had a lot to say. We will discuss that in just a moment.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, when dealing with the issue of erectile dysfunction, you need the right treatment for your specific medical situation. It's not a one-size.
We've been winning a couple games as of late. A lot of friends of mine that I'm very, very, very close to also live in California. My people still out there with me, so it's all the same.
Or started playing with Golden State.
No, this happens everywhere he goes. Everywhere he's been, he
at the
lights it
start,
up.
it's
He's got
really
that
good.
little Kyrie Irving to him. You know, wherever he goes, it's great at the start, and then things tend to turn south.
And things have gone well ever since he joined Golden State. I mean, they've been dealing with some of their own injuries, whether they're resting people or not. With Steph Curry, there's been some actual issues going on. But, I mean, you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight wins in the time since he started there. They got back-to-back wins over the Bucks and Raptors.
Yeah, they've climbed out of the play-in. They actually have a physical playoff spot. They're 6th in the West right now.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs. I mean, you wouldn't want to.
No.
If you're a Western Conference team,
I would rather play the Lakers than them.
I'd rather play the Grizzlies. I'd rather play the Lakers. I'd rather play Houston. Houston's, a good young team, but they're young. I mean, Golden State in the playoffs. I think if it's Golden State, Oklahoma City, I mean that would be something that would happen. I mean, that's a very interesting matchup. You have a very proven team against a superior, talented team.
And you've got the personal experience of seeing things go poorly against your team, against Golden State, and against Jimmy Butler. And now that they have combined and it's going well, yeah, that leaves you with that kind of pit in your stomach feeling, thinking, oh.
Well, you have Curry and Butler who are killers in the playoffs,
Yes.
and you can make sure that they can handle pressure situations. And you have Draymond, who is not going to take the last shot by any stretch of the imagination. He might not even score, but when playoffs when they let go of the whistle a little bit, he's a huge factor out there as well.
So Jimmy Butler was asked about his feelings as he gets ready to return to Miami. And kind of opening up some old wounds. And here he is being asked about the situation with Pat Riley.
Jimmy, could things have been worked out better if Pat and you had sat down immediately after last season and they offered the extension?
Okay. No.
Yeah.
No, he just said no.
No.
But because Pat Riley was never going to offer him the extension, that was lingering before they got to the summer. Riley wanted no part of that because Butler is entering his late 30s, and Riley's like, I'm not paying this guy $60 million a year when he's 37 and he shows up how many games? I mean, Butler sits out a ton. If you take a look,
if you're Miami, do you want to make the playoffs? I mean, they've won one game in their last 10.
Yeah,
probably not.
They're in 10th place in the East at the moment.
And they're going to end up making the playoffs because everyone under them is an unmitigated disaster.
And there's too much space with too little time to go. They're
making the play-in. Yeah. Now they're not going to have talent. The Timberwolves have talent.
No, the West is top to bottom a better conference this year.
Yeah, I'm just saying the juxtaposition of those teams. Like if Minnesota was in the East, they could be the 3 seed. I mean, based on the talent that they have, they could be the 3 seed in the East.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
So one would wonder, though, after Jimmy Butler, finally was able to leave Miami and he's in a better situation now with Golden State, maybe if some of his views have softened, maybe he's started to look at things, a little more objectively.
I think I knew in what direction I was going. Nobody ever asked me, though, so y'all just all got to jump to assumptions and conclusions.
Okay, well, you did want to leave, and
let's keep track of how many people he blames other than himself.
At least we're jumping, though.
That's the media.
At least we're jumping.
Yes,
he knows we can jump as the media.
So he's blamed the media. Okay,
and
what's next?
Pat Riley.
Yeah, he blamed Pat Riley for not offering him a contract.
But maybe it's olive branch time with Pat Riley.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts when you see Pat Riley tomorrow?
I don't got no thoughts. Like I said, man, I don't got nothing to say to nobody. I don't have no hard feelings. I'm in a better place now for me. Continued success to those guys over there.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm in a better place. Yep.
What about the
Well, in fairness, what do you want him to say, John?
I want him to say
he is in a better place.
I know, but I have nothing but good feelings for the people over there. They treated me well. We won some games. We went to the NBA Finals, something like that.
What does he feel bad about his behavior being so bad that he had to be suspended from the team. How does he feel about that now?
I mean, you can talk about it whenever we talk about it later on, but I think the suspensions are more because they just didn't want me to be around the team. It wasn't anything that I actually did because I didn't do nothing too drastic to deserve X amount of games being suspended. But it is what it is.
And you know what's funny about that is that, like, I believe he believes that.
Yes.
Because,
Yes.
Because, they get away with so much in the NBA. Again, the James Harden situation is fantastic. So you would go, well, obviously he missed flights. You can't do that. Or he was doing all this stuff. These guys are allowed to miss flights whenever they want. The owner, well, I don't remember what team Harden was on where this was happening, but was it Phoenix?
Houston.
Or Houston.
Harden was with Houston when he pulled this stuff.
Okay,
Yes.
the owner would go, not only do you have to travel, not have to travel with the team, I know you love strip clubs because Harden loves strip clubs. I don't think there's anything wrong at all with strip clubs. In fact, for a long point in my life, I liked them. He loves them. It's his hobby. You know, some guys fish, some guys play golf. He loves strip clubs. Not only would the guy let him not travel with the team, he would give his own jet to him to fly to Vegas. So while everyone else was flying to a city and doing walkthroughs and stuff, Harden was allowed and given a private jet to fly to Vegas to hang out at strip clubs. And you go, well, it's only James Harden, and it's only the modern NBA player. You've seen the Jordan documentary. Jordan used to have to go personally to Vegas to get him off the floor of a suite with Carmen Electra. And Carmen Electra tells the story. They'd have to hey,
let's
like
go.
Personally,
We got a game tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not in Vegas.
I know.
We have a game tonight somewhere else on the planet.
Yeah.
And I got to come here on my own to pick you off the floor to get you to go. So Jimmy Butler, we can make fun of him saying he didn't do anything. He did stuff, right? But if they weren't in this contract dispute, the team wouldn't have given a rat's ass if he did these things. So I understand Jimmy Butler is being delusional, but he's not being delusional. The NBA has got a big problem, and this is a slight term, but it's still involved in basketball. Is anyone on my page now, because I've been this way for a long time, that the college basketball is a vastly superior product to the NBA in terms of the way the game is played? You know,
No.
you are not on that page.
No.
Okay, I find the college game to be 1,000 times more enjoyable.
No.
1,000 times more enjoyable.
No, it's not even close, in my opinion.
So you like them just chucking up threes in no aggressive defense, no hard-nosed situations. You like just a finesse three-point game.
I like the fact that the last 2 minutes of an NBA game doesn't take 15 minutes to play.
What college basketball are you watching?
Every game of the tournament. We're watching it on Thursday night. We were watching the Kansas game, and we're getting ready to watch something else afterward. And I said, I can't. I have to go to bed. Marcy said, why? There's only 2 minutes left in this game. I said, how long do you think it's going to take them to play the final 2 minutes of this game?
Oh,
And
the college 2 minutes goes way faster than the pros. John, you can attest to that.
Out of your mind. In the tournament?
All right, be the tiebreaker here.
I think as far as the last 2 minutes of the game is concerned, it's close, but the college is a little more.
Oh, you guys are crazy. They don't have as many timeouts
During the tournament, the college has been worse.
But they don't have as many timeouts. They can't possibly take as many timeouts.
Which is remarkable. Everything goes to replay. I don't understand
Not
it either.
everything goes to replay.
A lot of things go to replay.
A lot of things go to and
there's replay in the pro game.
I know that, but they want to get the time exactly right. They got to double check out of bounds plays. I'm telling you about this. Hardy is right.
I don't know of this Kansas game because I don't have anything.
15 minutes and 40 seconds to play the last 2 minutes.
All right. I don't know what happened in the Kansas game because I could have given Kansas
and with no lead
team.
changes, by the way.
And the bottom line is the energy is more wall to wall if you watch a college game, but the athleticism and shot making is far better.
Of course,
Far
college
better in
players
the
aren't as
NBA.
good as pro players.
Well,
but you can struggle from the 3-point line. They drive to the basket. There is an inside game. Big men can operate down low. It's a better game. It's a far better game than the NBA. The NBA is the same thing. I can tell you. Grandy put some fantastic stat up of 3 players on the Celtics have the chance of making the most 3-pointers in a season. Isn't this fantastic? They could beat Isaiah Thomas's record. Of course they're gonna. They take 75 3-pointers a game.
I'm gonna show you something here. I'm gonna show you how we can come to some common ground here. I'm not gonna stand firm and just scream and yell. Right?
I don't like that attitude. Let's scream.
Okay. Regular season, the college basketball games are better in that they are trying to win each and every one of them.
That's
so
fair.
That's fair. That is a huge check in the college column for it being a better product. But in terms of sitting and watching, I found myself, and I said this on Friday when you were out, Fred. I said it again on Monday. I'm like, I get all excited for the tournament, and then I start watching some of these games. I'm like, you know what? Some of these teams are sneaky bad at basketball, and the actual product, the entertainment, the viewing product of it at the end of these games, it becomes unwatchable.
Yeah.
Even a close game, I can't watch this anymore.
But I'm not positive what game Kansas I'll give you. I didn't watch it, but I don't know what you guys are talking about. NBA games. Are you talking about fouling?
The end
like
of
in a close game?
Yes,
but that's how you win.
Even games and that's not a good product. That's not a good. I don't want to watch
fouling at the end of the game to get them to the free throw line.
Yes, I don't like that. I don't.
Well, that's how basketball's
Did
played.
you watch more so in the college game, especially in the tournament, than in the pros?
Well, you're going to foul at the end of any game in any basketball league. If it's middle school or anything else, if it's within a margin of victory, you're going to foul. I mean, you have to.
But
you have to stop the clock, and you have to give yourself an opportunity to get the ball back.
I'll give you another example. The end of the Michigan State-New Mexico game on Sunday night, not particularly close. It takes so long
just
to finish this game off. It was I went to go pick up my daughter on Sunday night, and it's like, do you want to record this? I'm like, yeah, I should have let her stand there next to the bus after all her friends got picked up.
You should have.
Yeah, I said, no, fine. They're going to win. I know they're going to win, and they're going to keep fouling each other. They're going to go to commercial break after every foul. It's going to be insufferable.
The commercial breaks, I'll give you during the tournament. There's more.
Yeah, and that's
not
the
way.
product.
But that's not the way the game is played. I'm talking about the game. It's
the way it's consumed. It's the way I have to consume it. You're asking me which I enjoy better, and I tend to enjoy the pro game more than the college game.
It's very interesting to me because the NBA is, I'll be so far as to say, boring. The playoffs last year were boring. They gave me tickets to playoff games last year. The Celtics. That's how boring they were. They couldn't get anyone to go.
That's not true. They couldn't get anyone to go to Celtics playoff games?
Do you know what the atmosphere for that Cleveland series was like in there? They gave me tickets. The Celtics gave me tickets.
You're a huge celebrity. That's good for them. They're giving you tickets because it helps them. It gives them worldwide recognition.
Fair. Danny, go ahead. Point taken.
Fred, I love you, but Hardy is right. Hardy is right. The call and Wallach is too. The college game is so much longer. I'll give you an example. That Florida
the games are shorter.
I had the under. In that game, right? And I was celebrating. And in the last minute and a half, they scored about 14 points because they just kept following each other.
You didn't like the last minute of the Florida-UConn game? Oh, get out of here with your under. The Florida-UConn game. Yeah, Florida's the best team in the tournament, arguably, after people now might think Duke. But Florida was supposed to be the best team in the tournament. They're taking on a UConn team that hadn't lost a game in the tournament in 3 years. It's a 2-point game. You got their coach crying like a maniac. Oh, get out of here. That game wasn't entertaining. You're nuts. I couldn't care. I listened to that game on the radio. You're nuts. You're nuts. That's a terrible example. And either of you, if you watched the UConn-Florida game, enjoyed it.
I did.
It was a 2-point win. It was insane. I don't care how many times the game stops. That game you can't point to. The Michigan State-New Mexico game, I wasn't as sure as you were that Michigan State couldn't make it. The Michigan State's best player didn't have a basket until 1 minute left in the game.
Yeah, but you and I should both be used to that after this season. That team not being, Michigan State not being able to shoot.
Well, everyone's saying Richardson's going to be a top 10 pick now, and I have no idea why.
Oh, okay.
Look at any mock draft.
No,
if
no.
you think I'm lying,
I'm
look at
not
any
lying.
mock draft. I was shocked.
A small bit of recency bias going on there. Good grief.
Well, they're saying because they didn't start him until
I heard the
halfway
same.
through the
I heard
season.
the same thing. I heard the same.
Well, because I look at mock drafts
Yeah.
before I watch a game because I want to see which one of these kids, these freshmen, are like big pro guys, like the kid from Maryland that traveled. They,
the guy Queen who made the game-winning shot.
I mean, you don't like the end of that game?
That game was fine. It was a 1-point game. He had a shot at the buzzer.
So
Yeah.
you don't like blowouts. All right, listen, I can't tell you what to like. I can only share with you my passion for college basketball.
Hardy, you were right. Say that.
Shut up, John. Who the hell are you?
It's John Wallach.
I have no experience.
I don't
in this
have
at all.
time to. I don't have time to take him. But RJ and Sam, thank you so much for calling in and supporting me. I don't have time to take you.
Oh, I'm sure.
because-
I'm sure those are real people on a real screen in front of you. That's just Ryan back there putting stuff in so you feel good.
Well, Ryan's not the one answering phones, so
No,
blah blah.
Exactly.
So it shows what you know about how this thing operates. All right.
Where is Nick? Oh, there he is.
Well, back to me being
And
right about things. Adam made a good point on our shared chat about me being correct about something. You got to hear about what happened to this guy, this radio guy. You got to hear about it. It's very interesting. We'll be right back.
Essential Sports.
So there's that going for you. So basically, it's a job. It used to be you lose a job, like Opie and Anthony. You can lose a job and then it ends up helping you. You kind of they didn't fail, but you can kind of fail up. Like they lose the AAF job, they get the WNEW job, that gets syndicated, they make tens of millions of dollars. It's not really the case anymore. There's this guy Dan Bernstein in Chicago, who had a lot of success there for a very, very long time. I think he started there in the 90s. He was like a caustic guy. Here's an example Ryan gave us of him with a phone caller.
In White Lake, Michigan, it's Eric on the score.
Hey, good evening, guys. Hey, I got an idea here. It's a little creative. Dimitri Young's out of baseball. He's 36 years old. He's got
So this isn't a bit that you want them to dig up the corpse of Dimitri Young?
He's only 36 years old.
He's out of baseball! Tell me this is a bit! Please, do everybody a favor and say you're joking!
Hey, Jermaine Dye's out of baseball. He still can play. Hey, you're mad.
Say you're joking! Say it right now! Say that's it! You got me! I'm kidding! Seriously! Seriously! Ah! Really? It never ends. Really? I feel like freaking Kafka!
All right, so
okay.
Well, it was a literary reference. Yeah. So anyway, like that's we've all done it. All right, so this leads us to the story. He is no longer employed. Was it something he said on the radio? Of course not. It wasn't something he said on the radio. The thing he gets paid to do. No, it was on Twitter.
Say you're joking.
No, it was on Twitter. Now, Now we put things on Instagram because it can be monetized. So wow, man, fatty. That's not the one. That's the thing. So it goes on, and he gets comments. He's got this picture of the fish. He's very proud. And this guy, Greg, says, laugh out loud. That isn't walleye. That is a female northern pike. And it was getting ready to spawn, but instead Dan killed it and seems proud of it. So Dan Bernstein reads that, and he responds, what in the entire F is wrong with you? It was released successfully, took off like a torpedo, go F yourself. So now he's very mad at the guy.
Right.
Because the guy said, his conservatism. Mm-hmm. And then the guy comes back, he goes, with dried blood on the gills, sure it did, Dan, liar. And the Dan Bernstein guy goes, like a shot. I never respond to trolls. I find that very difficult to believe. But questioning my sportsmanship and conservation awareness sets me off. Want to fight? I'm a bad enemy. Effer. Now, I do understand the sentiment of wanting to fight someone online.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, we've all wanted to, but like anything else, time, you evolve, you get to know what it is, and it really stops bothering you. Like, if someone, like, it used to be if, like, someone sent out trolls after you, you'd be like, da. But now, I'm like, it doesn't bother me nearly as much. So the guy comes back at this Dan Bernstein that says, want to fight. This Greg guy goes, you're 5'7", 165, fat boy. That's fat? You really worry me as a bad enemy. Between your language continues to give you away as a very base, juvenile person. And then Dan Bernstein says, where are you at? I have your address and phone numbers. Want it all public. Do I worry you yet? By the way, this guy who's tweeting him is tweeting him under his real name. And so the guy goes back and says, not one bit. I'm very transparent on where I lived. And then Dan Bernstein follows and goes, want your kids involved? So he's obviously lost his mind, which leads us to this point. Barrett Sports Media is something that covers radio. It doesn't matter. And they had an article up called, Why Are You on Twitter? And they mentioned Felger and this guy, Mike Valente in Detroit, who are both very successful, who aren't on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Why are you on Twitter anymore? Instagram can be monetized, okay? They monetize things on Instagram, and then they make the greater point, which I've made a million times. Why is Adam Schefter on Instagram? We've talked to Herald and Globe guys. About 2% of their action to their digital sites comes from Twitter. So Twitter is also where there's no time to pause. And again, Where do the Kardashians make their money? Where do these influencers make their money? It's Instagram. It can be monetized. Twitter can't be monetized like that. If there are a couple exceptions, I apologize. But if you're in media, I've always said this. Why waste it on Instagram? Like, why is Adam Schefter paid to, and everyone's in a race to get it on Twitter? Or why are they on Twitter? Why is it this race to get on Twitter first? What good does that do you? Put it on ESPN first. But put it on the Boston Herald first. Put it on the Boston Globe first. Get credit for it. Get money for it. And if they can't get it, make them put it behind a paywall and make them buy a subscription for it. Do it that way. And also, all people are going to do on Twitter, it's not nearly as bad on Instagram, but all people are going to do on Twitter is try to provoke you. This guy who provoked the Dan Bernstein didn't even do anything bad. Dan Bernstein was the one that did the worst stuff. But they're out there to provoke you. That's what they're trying to do. So, for instance, if, Barstool went after this guy. If Barstool goes to this guy, we're going to ruin your life. You made fun of our guy. We're going to ruin your life. If you're not on Twitter, what are they going to do? If they're not on Twitter, what are they going to do? Come to your house? If you're not on Twitter, they can't tweet at you. Who cares? And they email you, just put it all in the junk. This guy's fired because he's on Twitter and had to put the picture of himself with the fish up. And then it got into this thing where he's threatening the guy's kids. And now he doesn't have a job. And so there you go. And look, should he have gotten fired? No. But they obviously didn't want him anymore, and they used this as an excuse to get rid of him. If he never was on Twitter, he wouldn't have done it. If I had a media company, I'd be like, get the hell off of Twitter. Why? Because I want what you're writing on our site. I want the breaking news on our site. I want Adam Schefter, get it through your head. If you're so good at breaking news, I want to break it on ESPN.com. Well, I can't get it up in time. Here's the way. We'll make it so easy for you. It will take 2 clicks of your stupid phone, and it will be up there. Breaking news, Adam Schefter says. We'll give you access to the front page of our website. Shams Charania, you get up, ESPN, you want to break stuff, you're breaking it on ESPN.com. And then these media companies complain that they don't make any money. Well, you don't make any money because you're not putting this stuff on your site. Adam Schefter's not a writer. Shams Charania's not a writer. They're paid to break news. And if they break it on Twitter, who gives a F that they work for you? The news has already been broken. These media companies drive me insane. Get them all. I would get you off there in 10 seconds. I couldn't handle Twitter. I got off of it. Now I just have my dummy account so I can go after live chats.
But if all you do is not respond to people, post your stuff and then leave it alone. Treat it like Maz says he treats it. Treat it like a Molotov cocktail.
How about Maz writes his Molotov cocktails on 98.5thesportshub.com?
But I'm saying you don't have to necessarily remove yourself from everything.
Why? Why not? What is the advantage of Maz being on Twitter?
I'm just making a point. I'm
but
not arguing against you. I'm just making an additional point.
Okay, but
the additional point is this: not everybody has to just remove themselves from all social media. If you want to post things, post it. Just don't respond to the people who respond to you.
But that is part of my point that you're going against, though. Is why does he have to be on Twitter?
Nobody has to do anything.
We have to be on Instagram.
No, we don't.
We absolutely do. We have to be.
No, we don't.
We have to. Yes, we do. The company monetizes it. We have to. They told us to make videos of us at that game.
You're talking about the what is dictated by your employer versus what you wish to do.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm saying so. Yeah, and I understand the Instagram thing. I'm sorry, and we're late.
Yeah, I know.
But the Instagram thing. And that's why I don't have a problem with what the company's doing is because it can be monetized. All I'm saying is that if Maz says drop the Molotov cocktail and then get out of the way, if I was 98.5 The Sports Hub, I'd say, Maz, I don't want you on Twitter. Drop the Molotov cocktail on 98.5thesportshub.com or on our Instagram page or on our YouTube channel so we can monetize it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. All right. Chris DiStefano is going to join us. He is going to join us. He's a very funny comedian. We'll talk to him in just a moment.
You're listening to
So try to keep the play alive. Falling down, he goes to the end zone. It's caught. He's got it. Touchdown.
WBZFM and HD Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics swept their back-to-back last night in Sacramento, but it came with a price. Jason Tatum scored 25 points, and the Celtics pulled away for a 113-95 win over the Kings, but Tatum also sprained his left ankle in the third quarter and did not return. The Boston Globe is reporting he left the arena, however, without a walking boot or crutches. Celtics have won 6 straight now. They continue their road trip in Phoenix tomorrow night. Patriots have decided to match a 2-year offer sheet that linebacker Christian Ellis had previously signed with the Raiders. Former Patriots kicker Joey Sly signed a contract with Tennessee. And the Red Sox won an exhibition game last night in Mexico, 10-1 over the Monterrey Sultans. Richard Fitz went 6 innings, allowed 1 unearned run. Sox play the Sultans again tonight and then head to Texas for the regular season opener on Thursday afternoon. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, keeping drains flowing for homes and businesses in the greater Boston area since 1976. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Some people play the game.
Hey, Jaylen Brown. Blocked by Horford.
Some talk about
Let's welcome to the Sports Hub Celtics show, by the way. Jim Murray, Chris Gasper.
The Sports Hub Celtics show with Murray and Gasper, Saturdays at noon on the Sports Hub. Fred, what's it like to work with Hardy and Wallach?
What a golden ticket I've gotten.
There you have it. Toucher and Hardy resumes on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Thank you, Sean, for that update on the game that the Red Sox played against. Who they play against?
The Monterrey Sultans.
In the future, if you could, just more specifics. No, just more specific.
Okay.
I need to know more about what happened in that game.
Okay. Gotcha.
I understand there's not a lot going on.
Yeah.
Or maybe just devote one update just to the box score, top to bottom.
Can't help you with that. I have it right here.
And if I'm going to be late to the breaks, I mean, really extend those headlines.
To 3 stories.
Make
Jesus
the stuff
Christ.
DeStefano wait a little bit longer. Chris DeStefano is very funny. He's going to be at the Wilbur on Thursday, October 9th and Saturday, October 11th.
He actually requested the full update from the Red Sox game yesterday, so you can blame Chris.
Well,
and say you're welcome.
I mean, he's a New York guy, but he obviously wants to know what the enemy's up to. Tickets are available now at thewilbur.com. Chris, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me, boys. Listen, Red Sox, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm from New York because at the end of the day, America wins, and that's what matters.
Now, listen, are you one of the comedians that gets courtside seats to the Knicks?
Yes, I am. And I've been getting them for 10, 11 years because I was on a show on the network IFC that James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, owned that network. So I started getting courtside seats when, I still had a day job, and I was getting courtside seats. So now I've been in there so long for 10 years that they give them to me, and I can sell them to anyone who wants them for a really good price.
Now, can you sell those tickets? First of all, I got so many questions now. Have you had the pleasure of meeting James Dolan?
Yes, multiple times I've had the pleasure of meeting James Dolan, and he's a very nice man, and he plays a lot of instruments.
Yes, and Jimmy Fallon had him on. Jimmy Fallon is so credible, and he had James Dolan's band on, and couldn't have been more excited. He was jumping up and down after it. It was great. They played a cover song. It was fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds like something Jimmy Fallon would do. Jump up and down, go crazy. I mean, listen, it's. I've also sat very close in Boston at the TD Garden. Last year I saw the Celtics. Last year I saw the Celtics and the Nuggets. So it was, amazing to watch. And then I got the norovirus and I vomited all over the street right outside TD Garden.
Oh, well, that's very popular with comedians now. You did the Tracy Morgan.
That's the new thing.
I was at that game. I was at that game last week, sitting right across the way from him. And my friend looked over, my friend Giannis Pappas, so I do the History Hyenas podcast with. We were sitting down there, and he goes, "I think Tracy Morgan's vomiting." I was like, "There's no way he's vomiting." And then when I look over, and I was like, "Wow, he is vomiting everywhere." And it was pretty crazy. And one thing I saw too is because I was sitting right next to the Knicks bench, it's fun to just be that close to NBA elite athletes because they're they're just playing in the most, they're just guys like us. They're playing in the most elevated version of a men's league. That's all it is. Because they were just talking, be like, yo, is that Tracy Morgan vomiting everywhere? I was like, I think it is. And they're like, that's crazy. And then they just started talking about what they were going to have for dinner after the game. And I was like, wow, it's pretty cool.
Oh, and obviously they're fetishizing it if they're thinking about dinner right after watching someone vomit on the sideline.
I mean, that's what I'm into. I like vomit on the feet. That's what I go to in my
Oh, your words to God's ears.
You love that.
Oh, yes, I'm very into that. So I've been following your career for a long time. By the way, if you want to hear maybe the best story I've heard a comedian ever tell, I'm not going to have you do it now, but there's a very famous story that Chris tells about being in school during 9/11 and his school kicking him out and his father getting involved. That is the one I saw. You were at the Comedy Cellar. It's fantastic. You're a great storyteller as well as a comedian. But I follow you, but I'm not completely sure what's going on in your life. So you had kids. You have kids with a woman. Are you married to that woman? What is the evolution of that relationship?
We're engaged. We got engaged actually just very recently on January 6th because it's a great day. And so we got engaged on January 6th. I stormed the engagement, and then
it was in honor of that, obviously.
You're right. It was an honor, and we did it. I gave her a little Stars and Stripes engagement ring, and we have 3 kids together. We're gonna get married. We haven't picked the date yet. But, I mean, you know what? We might go all in, and I might have got engaged on January 6th and get married on September 11th. That's possible.
Listen, obviously you were able to escape prosecution for your involvement in the January 6th. So that
yes, I was able to get out of it. But now I did things backwards. A lot of people wanted to get married and have kids. I had kids and got married. I'm just Chrissy backwards.
Okay, so
I'm guessing this is all your idea. This is something that you had wanted and wished for, and just the fact that you two were together and have kids together and everything's great. I'm guessing you're the one who wanted to get married. And
Yes. After the 100th time of waking up like Ray Liotta and Goodfellas with a gun to my face and saying either do it or you die, I finally said, you know what? Today's a good day to do it.
Okay, so how did you manage putting this off for so long if you were just inevitably going to do it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be one thing if you never did it, but how were you able to put this off? Because I'm divorced, and I can tell you, it's a big pain in the ass. So being hesitant to get married is something that I could see.
Yes.
How were you able to put it off for this long?
I kept being able to put it off. It's funny because I'm on speakerphone and my fiance's just walked into the room. So now she's looking at me at like a human gun. I put it off.
It's terrestrial radio, my dear. No one's listening. Go ahead.
Right. That's true. Yeah. So you know what happened is I kept putting it off, but then my daughter, who's 9, my oldest daughter's 9, she was like, why doesn't mommy have our last name? And I just kind of ran out of excuses. And I was like, I actually don't know anymore. And she was like, you should marry mommy and we can all be a part of it. And I was like, you know what? That's actually a great idea. Just do it. Who cares? We already have kids. We've already been together 10 years. We've been through it all, ups and downs. It's like, what's the difference? It's so
money.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, you would have to pay child support, but money, the alimony is where the real rubber hits the wall.
I got an old school father. That's why what I look like on paper is not actually what I have. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash stuffed under his mattress on Staten Island.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay.
She doesn't know about, the government doesn't know about.
Is your father still with us? Is he still? He is?
As of last night, yes, but you never know the way that guy eats. You just never know. Anytime I get a call from him or his wife before 8 a.m., I'm like, here's the news. But it's usually just my stepmom being like, hey, I'm taking your dad to the hospital because he has explosive diarrhea yet again.
Okay, because you talk – this is actually funny because the way you talk about your father, I just assumed he was dead. The way that you describe his health and age.
Most people do. I mean, first of all, he was like 280 pounds And now he's like 175. And he says that his new diet is all he does is eat half a tuna fish sandwich a day. That's like, and so he's lost over 100 pounds. And he's like, I feel good. I was like, I feel like you're dying and you just aren't going to the doctor. And that's just what's happening.
It's the kind of weight loss where people don't go, congratulations. They go, oh dear. Yeah. It doesn't look like a healthy one, is what you're saying.
No. I have money saved for the headstone.
Okay, now is your father, based on the way you talk about him and your act and everything, has he been against you getting married? Is he, because is he like, don't do it, it's a trap? Is he that kind of guy?
No, my dad's been married 3 times, so he's just the guy. His whole thing has always been like, just let it rip. His whole thing is you think about it after. So it's not, the best advice from a dad, but it's his advice, and his whole thing is like, just do it. But he no one's everyone in my family has kind of always been like, why don't you just get married? But I don't know. I get a lot of anxiety and I overthink a lot. So I can talk myself in or out of any situation. That's just what I can do with my brain.
Okay. And so because I have the same things, so you'll tend to obsess on things and you'll catastrophize them. And that's a situation that you go through.
Yes, exactly. And then I kind of just get, stopped in my tracks. I get like, cold feet on anything. But, with the marriage, it's just like, hey, we've been together so long. I feel like it's good to do it this way because now we know, we've been together for so long. It's just we've just, been through it all. And it's about loyalty at the end of the day. It's about loyalty. And here's the thing. Here's what my dad, this is the only person in my father's life, and Jasmine, my girl's been able to do this. My father does not trust people who are from a city and then do not root for that sports team. So Jasmine's from New York, but she was rooting for the New England Patriots. And my dad is like, I don't like that. He was like, just like if you were from Boston and you were rooting for the Giants, I would be like, I can't trust you. And so she was rooting for the Patriots. And initially my dad was like, that's a bad sign. But now he's come all the way around. He says, she's the only person in my life, in your life, anyone I've ever met, that I can actually say, even though she's not rooting for our hometown sports team, I trust her wholeheartedly. And I said, if that's the case, we're doing it.
Well, I'm a Jets fan, and I do sports talk radio in Boston, so there is a way to coexist like that.
But I don't trust you, and neither does my father.
Well, I'm not from Boston.
He's not from here.
But I'm not from New York either. But my
Where
cousin,
are you from?
I'm from Detroit.
God!
But my cousins, it's a beautiful city. If you've been there recently. You know it.
I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there in I think November, and I got to say it is amazing. It is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is awesome. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Kiev this time of year.
And that's what they're doing there. There's a lot of very furry hats, and people are enjoying
not as many places that it used to be, Chris.
Right.
There are entire blocks now which are habitable.
Yeah,
right.
Well, there is some nuclear fallout there, but no one has to worry about that. Yeah. I used to spend my mom's from Long Island, and I used to spend August there in the middle of Long Island, and my cousins were all Jet fans, so it all just ended up happening from there. The curse happened from there. So so you say you have these these obtrusive thoughts, and you would catastrophize things. Do you ever find yourself, like when your kids are going through something like that, talking them through it, and it's like real easy to talk someone else through it, but when it's happening to you, there's no doing it to yourself?
Yeah, I think I'm the guy. I read a lot of books. I have a lot of quotes. I can go on a podcast and give advice. And then when it comes down to my life, I just melt down. 99% of the things that my advice to my kids is just please ask your mom, because I don't know. I feel like I'm in myself one of the kids, because there's a lot of times, just this morning, my daughter was like, can I have this? And it was like a chocolate milk. And I was like, you have to ask your mom. I actually don't know. Even though I'm 40 years old and I'm the father. That's the thing about being a parent. Is you realize I don't know anything. I do not have the answers. I just don't know what I'm talking about ever. And I'm like, was this how my mom and dad are? And we're just really just trying to figure this out as we go, because I don't know. My microwave's broken now, and it's well, kids, we're just not going to have hot food because I don't know how to fix it.
But it's funny, Chris, because when your kids are real young, they'll ask you questions that you can you can answer. You can give them an answer. Why do we only see the moon at night? Okay, you may not know it scientifically, but you give them something. I find as my kids get older, and they're both teenagers now, they'll ask me something, and my gut reaction is to say, I don't know. And it might be something as simple as, why is that guy acting so badly? I don't know. I don't want to give any kind of an answer because, like you said, the older you get to realize, the less you know, and you don't want your kids to expose you as being the idiot that you almost certainly are.
Well, the thing is, with the amount of podcasts and stuff I've done, I've already exposed myself as the idiot, so I don't have to worry about that with my kids. But I do know what you mean, and a lot of times I'll just tell my kids, the answer is within you, and walk away.
That is true.
Just look
as
deep
the Buddha
inside.
said.
Yeah.
As the Buddha said.
Yeah.
How many podcasts is your name on?
So right now, I do a podcast and then it goes away. So I've had many podcasts, but the current one that I'm doing right now is History Hyenas with Giannis Pappas. That's a fun one. That's we make history funny, and that was had a cult following for a while, and then we stopped it for a few years, and then we brought it back. So that's great. And I do every Sunday. I put out a video on my YouTube on Christie Comedy about basically trying new material, but not crowd work, actually doing the new material of the week and, talking about it and going behind the scenes a little bit, because podcasting is great, but it's just very oversaturated. Too many people are talking about too many things.
You don't say.
It's just ridiculous.
It's almost like every moron has a microphone in their living room and is talking.
Yeah, and to me, it's podcasting is something that I started to do around the pandemic a little bit earlier. And I was but stand-up is the actual thing that I've been doing for years and feels like the equalizer. It's stand-up is, if you get fans to keep coming back and see you, it's because you're good at stand-up. It's I know someone can have a hit podcast or a TikTok or whatever and go out and sell out a comedy club or even a theater tour once or maybe twice. But if you keep doing it 3, 4, 5, 6 times year after year, it's because you stand up, and not everyone can do that. So I know that that's the thing that I've been doing the longest and the thing I love the most. And podcasting just became something to do, kind of when we couldn't do it during the pandemic, and we've just kept on. But little by little, most people are just dropping their podcasts because it's just not something I was ever really passionate about, besides the history one. I love talking about history.
Right.
And I love
it's esoteric, and it's it's a niche thing, and you're doing it kind of for fun. I love it. Yeah, right. That I understand. But you're right. There were a lot of garbage comics that got very, very popular, in my opinion, based on bad podcasts. So I don't know. But I've been a big fan of yours for a long time, and I do appreciate you coming on. I'm sorry to make you wait.
Of course, man. All good.
Chris DiStefano, he's going to be at the Wilbur Theater Thursday, which is a great place to it's great. You played there. I'm sure you played there before.
Oh, yes, many times. I think personally, it's the best theater in the United States. In these United States, I think Wilbur is the best.
Well, Chris, I've performed there on several occasions, if I may say. So I'll tell you.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's not so great anymore, is it?
Yeah, well, listen.
Oh my God, dude.
and if I was the only one getting the check, you walk out of there with some cash.
Took the bloom right off.
I mean, there you go. October 9th, Thursday, October 9th, and Saturday, October 11th. I can't recommend more strongly going to see Chris. Go get tickets at thewilbur.com. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. It's a pleasure to talk.
All right, guys. I'll see you.
All right,
bye. Thank you.
There you go. He had podcasting in the right. He gets it. He's a good comic. So,
yeah,
he gets the whole podcasting thing. All right, we'll be right back with the email.
that's like the boundary type receiver they're talking about. Even Vrabel said it. Like, we need to find a boundary. He's already telling you we know who the slot is. So he's already had those discussions with Josh. Vrabel's telling you we're looking for that boundary type player. That's an outside guy. You're going to have to trade for him. Because I don't think any of those guys are going to come in.
Zolak and Bertrand, weekday mornings at 10 on the Sports Hub.
You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
No, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. You can find our email addresses over there on 985thesportshub.com. I can't tell you, after Chris said that comedians were getting out of podcasting and focusing on their acts, how happy that makes me. It just was an absolute thrill.
He made a good point, too. He's like, guys that do podcasts can go to theaters and sell it out once, twice, maybe 3 times. But if you're a comedian, people keep coming back.
Right.
You know that you can go many times and people will still come out to see you.
All right. I got to do one because I got to get information real quick on this computer.
Okay. Go ahead, John.
I have actually, it's a tweet, but it's relevant. This one from Rand. It says, Wallach, I literally work full-time on X and get monetized enough to pay all the bills.
No.
Fred literally has zero idea what he's talking about.
Okay, what do they do?
He wasn't specific.
How many followers does he have?
Real quick. Read that again, please, John. I'm sorry to interrupt, but please, John.
All right. This Wallach, I literally work full-time on X and get monetized enough to pay all the bills.
To pay all the bills. There's the phrase that you're focusing in on there. That's a disingenuous phrase just to use.
He has 22,000 followers.
In 22,000 followers.
That's what it says here. Yep.
Is a bad minute for a radio station. And what is his account? What is the basis of his account?
He actually only describe. He doesn't describe what it is. It says medical and health. Medical and health.
So he has a medical and health Twitter account. That's the only thing he does to make a living.
Apparently.
Uh-huh.
That's what it says here.
I don't believe it.
Well, I'm going to follow him. I'm going to support him. Why don't you share it with me?
He monetizes 22,000 followers enough to make a living. Uh-huh. Sure. That's just not, I don't believe it by any stretch of the imagination. You know what's upsetting is that the box scores for basketball games do not have the length of game. You know how baseball games have the length of game? They don't have the length of game. Because I want to see how long this terrible Florida UConn game that was a 2-point win that took down a generational team. I want to know how long it was that bored people so much, but I can't find it. It better have been awful long. Because college basketball is shorter than the pro games. It's just a shorter game. It's a 40-minute game.
Right, but they seem to take these March Madness games still take like 2.5 hours to play, which is what's the normal time a Celtics game ends at night, John? A 7:30 tip ends at what, 9:40?
9:40, 9:50.
Yeah.
All right. Average length of an NBA game is 2 to 2.5 hours.
Okay.
The average length of college basketball game, college basketball game is 2 hours. So it is lower. Two and a half to 2. So 2 it's less. I mean, the games are less. They take less time.
Were we talking about how long the last 3 or 4 minutes takes, or were we talking about the actual length of the game?
We're talking about which product you enjoy more consistently. And this is where it's an argument, but you're only arguing against yourself, because I'm telling you that as excited as I and everybody gets for the tournament, when it comes to actually sitting down and watching a lot of these games or having them on in the background as I did, at the end of last week and on Saturday, I found myself saying, you know what? This isn't as good as I think it is.
Which was better, the NCAA tournament or the NBA playoffs?
Which one? And in totality, in the lifetime, or what?
What did you enjoy more last year? Last year's NBA playoffs as opposed to this year's tournament.
Last year's NBA playoffs were lackluster because of the injuries and some of the opponents that people ended up facing.
You get 7 timeouts in an NBA game. You get 4 in a college basketball game. So, I mean, it just doesn't take longer. It's a shorter game, and there's less timeouts. And we have made the argument that NBA games take forever, the last 2 minutes, for years and years and years. It's a big problem with the product. It's something that they're trying to make measures to make faster.
NBA needs to get rid of timeouts, but they also use those timeouts earlier so that by the end of these games, NBA teams will have 3 timeouts left, and the college teams will have 3 timeouts left.
Oh, I don't know. You're talking out of your ass there. We don't know that to be a fact. I mean, the NBA they used what's his face in the Michigan State game? Patino had 1 timeout left with like 10 minutes in the second half. He had 1 timeout left.
Again, just from me watching it, it seems like the college teams, they save the timeouts more for the end of the game, as well they should. That's smart.
Right.
If you only have a handful of them, you're not going to burn them 2 minutes into the first half like NBA teams will do. NBA teams use timeouts all the time to stop the bleeding and try and stop runs and do that when they have more of them to use.
All right.
But I'm not talking out of my ass when I say it took 15 minutes and 39 seconds for Kansas to not to end up losing the game on Thursday night last week. I watched it. I said
I'm just curious why you watched that particular game. Because
who were they playing, John?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas against
Kansas.
Okay, I thought it was St. John's. Kansas. What?
Yeah, it was a decent game.
We were just discussing the game, and then John Pipes said he doesn't know the game that we're discussing. You said Kansas.
Yeah, he said Arkansas. I asked him who they were playing.
Yeah, and I said Arkansas, and then he goes, no, St. John's.
Arkansas was playing St. John's. It's fine. I misunderstood where you guys were going.
The two of you are spiraling against the face of my hot debates.
That's what it is.
It's not. There's no debating it. There's nothing to debate. You're telling me that college basketball is by far the superior product, and I'm saying as an actual product, especially when you get to the end of some of these games, it's not great entertainment.
But the arguments you're making that it takes longer than the NBA just aren't true. Like that's the argument I'm making, is that a close playoff NBA game is going to take longer, as a matter of fact, because they just have more time. They have more timeouts. There's
48 minutes as opposed to 40. Yes,
right.
It will take more. Yes.
No. But just even the last minute is going to take longer in an NBA game because they have more timeouts. But forget it. But, I mean, the notion of fouling, I mean, my daughter's 8th grade team, I had them foul at the end of games.
Yeah, and I've never liked that.
Right,
I don't
you
like
have
it
to.
in any aspect of it.
But that's just the game of basketball. That's not dependent on college or all I'm saying is I'm a little disappointed in the two of you. One, because, John, you call college basketball for free. And 2... Hardy, you are a graduate of a blue blood. Someone said that not to say blue blood is blue bloods, but I can't get the link to work because of Mindcast. You're an actual graduate of Michigan State. I went to Rollins, who has like a D3 basketball program. I just had to hold on to something, and I'm the one in here. I'm a Walmart fan of Michigan State. I was waitlisted at the institution. I wouldn't have gone there anyway, but I was waitlisted.
You wouldn't have gone to Michigan State if you gotten in?
No, I went to Rollins. Where would you go if you were given the decision to go to Winter Park, Florida, or East Lansing, Michigan?
He does have a point there.
I'd never heard of Rollins College until I heard you talk about it on the air. So I would have no desire to go to Rollins College.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about John asked me.
Oh.
No, I take it that there was a financial restriction on where you could attend school, a state school, right?
I'd never really considered anywhere else. I knew I wanted to go there for communications, and it was a good school. And I was either there or Butler. Those are the
so you did
two
look at
schools I
private.
applied to.
Oh yeah, I would have gone to Michigan State. Like, it's not a school I wouldn't have gone to. It's just I wouldn't have gone if I got in.
Butler, huh?
Yeah.
We go to the campus at Butler?
No.
He's a
But
Midwest guy.
I was looking at journalism schools, communication schools.
See, I went to a liberal arts school. I didn't care what they were teaching.
Same here.
I knew I wanted to be in radio,
Same here.
and I knew well enough that they weren't going to teach me anything in college. That you're coming out there with a communications degree, that ain't doing anything for you.
That was my freshman year. It wasn't even an advisor; it was a professor of one of the classes I took, and I went to ask him because he seemed like a cool, approachable guy. And I told him I was thinking about communications or telecommunications. I thought maybe I wanted to do TV news. And he said, don't do any of that nonsense. Journalism. He said, get a journalism degree. At the very least, you'll be a better writer than you are now. And that's an actual skill. All this other stuff, he said, is nonsense. Don't bother with it.
Yeah, because I could argue a history degree is better for you in radio because at least you had to like go over information, retain it, and be able to spit it out like with your own take on it. Because I can only imagine who teaches radio in college. I mean, you have to be a real loser. I mean, I mean, it's a bad enough job to have, let alone to teach. You know, like
Let
it's
me
not.
assure you, it kind of doesn't exist anymore because I certainly looked into it over there.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
I taught production at Northeastern.
Well,
but
now
that's
yeah,
different.
well,
that's teaching
that-
people how to produce on Pro Tools.
That's
That's
different.
a valuable
Gary
skill.
Tanguay.
That's a very skill. That's
I've
about
lectured at that class.
No, there's skills that you have to
Yeah.
learn, but in terms of if like your dream is to be like on the radio or doing some sort of audio broadcasting, the idea that anyone can teach you that
Your former broadcast partner is
is
now a teacher,
ludicrous.
Jerry Trupiano?
Hardy. Yes, he is.
Oh, where's he teaching?
Dean College.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he's teaching what?
He's teaching, I believe, journalism, radio journalism.
Okay, I don't know what that entails. I'm just talking about if you want to talk on the radio.
Yeah, Edward R. Murrow stuff. This is London.
All I can speak of is what I've done for my career, and I've been fairly successful at it, a medium amount of success at it. And I can tell you right now, I don't know what they could have possibly told me in college. It's bad enough your program directors at these garbage small stations. They're bigger idiots than anyone. They'll tell you not to do a bunch of stuff that you end up doing and getting better jobs than them.
It's awesome.
Thank you, Gary. Gary will tell you. He just has John teaches class.
Just a sweet guy with the cowboy boots and played the guitar.
Yeah,
That's all I
that's
did.
right.
That was 40 minutes.
That's right. All right. So we'll be back with our fabulous stack segment.
Essentials.
beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack on top.
Ooh. They will be Green Monster themed. They will debut soon. And he said, and this is a quote, "I can tell you they will be controversial."
What, little eyes and fangs in them? I mean, what for Monster? What is
So the yellow Boston Strong, those are City Connect also part of that theme.
Yep.
I don't mind those. And I heard Beatles say that they're kind of like growing on them. I didn't mind them from the start.
Yellow, baby blue is fine.
It was whoever invented doing this kind of stuff is a genius. I mean, look at shoe companies. I just follow like a sneaker site on Instagram. I don't even really know why. I just said Deion Sanders is dropping 4 different variations of this turf kind of like colorway on his shoes. Like the idea of having numerous specialized uniforms, whether you like them or not, is insanely brilliant marketing. Like my son doesn't like the Red Sox necessarily, but he asked while we were in Florida, he wants that Marathon City Connect, or not City Connect. Is that what they're called? City Connect?
City Connect. Yeah.
City Connect jersey. I mean, it's like them or not. And everyone, remember the pants last year, the Nike pants that you could see like the guy's balls and everything?
Oh, that's
and everyone hated them.
Switched over to Fanatics. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, did they keep those all year? Because if they did, no one talked about them after the first day. So for everyone's, my point is this: for everyone's complaints about it, you wouldn't be a very good marketer because regardless of if they're cool, if they're like nice or not, what's it to them to make them? And then they end up making a ton of money. So. I mean, if you like the design or not, worst case scenario, it was a bad design. We printed up, 10,000, 100,000 of them and got to eat the cost. We'll try it again next time. Big deal.
Right. And you're still going to have a ton of people buying them because there are people, Kevin Majori, who will buy every version of every sweater that the Bruins put out.
How many hockey uniforms does that guy have?
I think he counted, and I think it's over like 70.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like 70. And these,
sweaters.
All of them are like legit good ones, too, not like the $50 ones.
No,
you can
they're
buy.
the $150 like legit ones.
Wow. And by the way, $150 is you're being very conservative with that price. I'm thinking more like $250.
Yeah, the good ones, the Mitchell and Ness ones are over $200. Yeah.
Oh, those might be well over the $300 range. And if you got 70 of those,
yep, yeah. Tom Brady speaking a little bit more through his newsletter. But I don't remember Tom Brady having a newsletter. I do remember him putting out the Tom Brady Times that would have the cartoons on it.
You could never figure out the alligator. Yeah.
You could never figure out any of it, why he was doing it, what marketing person thought that would be a good idea. But he's speaking a little bit.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
The newsletter is a sign of the times.
Yeah.
It's just like 8th grade back in the 80s. Get a nice... the Warner Middle School Gazette. Like a nice newsletter.
Print them out on the mimeograph machine and just hand them out. A little bit of both. Brady wanted to leave. He couldn't stand Belichick anymore, and Belichick for years wanted Brady gone. So finally they just did it.
Yeah, I mean, they would have stayed together if there was no tension.
But there was tension because by the end, Tom hated Bill, and Bill wanted Brady gone 4 years before he actually left.
And Brady also wanted money somewhat commensurate with his worth.
Yeah.
Which he was never given his entire time as a Patriot.
Ever.
Which is never going to happen again.
No. He'll be the last player that happens.
Yes. Quarterbacks are making $55 million a year now.
Like Rodgers did it. So 40-year-old quarterbacks might do it. But like a quarterback going into his second deal, would have to be out of his mind. And I know Josh Allen took a little bit less, but you know what we're saying. Like, say the going rate's $55 million a year, and a guy takes 48. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, Brady was taking like half the money he was worth. And look at him now. He's making even more money at Fox, and he's great at it.
Well, a lot of the money is coming from that newsletter, though, too, because he sells ads in it.
Yeah.
And you know what else went real well? The whole TB12 brand clothing. That was like hotcakes. And what was the other clothing he put out?
Oh, that's right. He did a separate line, didn't he?
I thought it was just a Brady brand. I thought he just had plain sweatshirt said Brady on it.
Okay, maybe that was it, but it was a clothing
but it was
line.
one word. I forget what it was.
And every time he did
Brady.
It was Brady.
He just wanted to lose money. He might as well have just had a money burning session. He had to have these sidelines that made no money.
Yeah, Jim Gray. No, Tommy, this will work out well.
Oh, remember when everyone was talking about the JE11s and how brilliant that was?
Yeah.
I'm sure he made a real killing
You
on
get
that.
some Brady pants right now. I'm on the Dick's Sporting Goods website. The Brady men's grid flex pants, originally $125.
$4.
$47.
Oh, okay.
The T-shirts that were $65 are now $25.
And the next stop is like Sudan, like when they just dump a bunch of like old shirts out there.
That or, maybe Walmart or something like that is sell the discount.
No.
Brady stuff.
Once you get past that,
Oh, okay.
there's TJ Maxx, Target, then it gets down to the the Walmarts,
Yeah.
and then TJ Maxx, I guess, and then when that doesn't work, they just ship them off to some
and
impoverished country.
Yeah, and they'll be sold and worn alongside the undefeated season Patriots T-shirts.
Absolutely,
That's right.
exactly. You know the drill. All right, I am not going to be here tomorrow because I am a loser.
Because you have to get up early.
Yeah, and much to the consternation of all of you. But I appreciate that you want me here because that's the way I'm taking it.
Yeah,
Is that you guys
the
want
show
me
is
here.
better when the three of us are here.
There's
Absolutely.
no question about it. Well, at least if two of the three of us are here.
That's a mean thing to say to me. I understand.
No, I was
You'd
talking about
rather
John.
Oh no!
No, I'm
that's
playing.
wrong.
No,
That's
when the
wrong.
three of us are here, of course, it's much better. But I will not be in tomorrow for my reasons. My son has to be at the airport at 4:20 in the morning.
You're going back to bed.
Guess when his flight is coming back from Florida, which doesn't affect me in any way.
9:30 at night?
5:20 in the morning.
Oh.
It leaves at 5:20 in the morning. It leaves West Palm Beach at 5:20 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so
This is great.
well, no, it's great. It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's less money.
Do you have
I'm
to
not
go-
on the flight.
Do you have to go get him?
No, Stephanie's going to get him because
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay.
So I know I'm
I
not
figure you
taking
take
two
another day off. Go to the airport.
There
go
you
get
go,
him.
John.
Yeah.
Well, that would make more sense, I suppose.
Real
All right.
quick, before we end the show,
Oh,
this
we're
is
ending
out of
late on
character
you.
for me.
Whoa!
But to let you know, this is very important that T-Bone, who produced the Midday Show, told me that Saad Zolak is running late today.
Oh, that's too bad.
Wait, but that, huh? Since when? All right.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe if I could just show up an hour into the show, everything would be fine. Then I could take a nap and then come in. All right, we'll be back. They'll be back tomorrow. That'll do it for us. Bye.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The Sports